Okay, see here, we have started with the theory of allowances. Okay, now see in allowances, first these many allowances you have to remember which are exempt from tax. And once you by heart these allowances, then you don't have to worry. Any allowance you find in the question which is not fitting in TC hut, TC udhar, it will be taxable. Okay, and right now don't pay attention on entertainment allowance. This will be discussed at the end. And see in this keyword of TC hut, TC udhar, what we have done, T for tribal area allowance, it is exempt up to 200 per month. Then C1 was children education allowance, 100 per month per child for maximum 2 children. Then children hostel allowance, maximum 300 per month per child for maximum 2 children. Then third C was commutation allowance. It is an allowance for journey between office and residence, and it is exempt only if the employee is physically handicapped, up to 3,200 per month. Okay. Then next alphabet is H. H stands for house rent allowance. H for house rent allowance. Now what is house rent allowance? If employee has to stay in a rented house, so his expenditure is rent, and to meet rent expenditure he is given house rent allowance. See, as I told you in the last lecture, allowances are either given for some expense or for the pain in the job. Okay, either they are compensatory in nature to compensate for the pain in the job, or it is given for some expense. So this allowance which I am saying right now, house rent allowance, it is an allowance for some expense. But for which expense? Rent expenditure. Because there are many people who have to stay in a rented house, and to meet the rent expenditure, company gives house rent allowance. Okay. Now, since it is falling in the list of exempt allowance, that means it is exempt. Okay. And basically government feels house rent allowance is necessary, and wherever law feels that this is a necessary allowance, employee should be given, so government will exempt it. But the exemption of house rent allowance is little difficult. I will do one thing, once I complete the entire list of TC hut, TC udhar, I will take it at the end. Okay, because this explanation is little bit detailed, and I don't want to go in detail right now. Once I want that I should finish everything in TC hut, TC udhar, and then at the end we will do house rent allowance. Okay, but right now just remember it is exempt. See, I have written here, look. It is exempt and there is a formula for this. But to understand the formula in depth, we will take some time. So I will do it at the end. Okay. Then after H, U stands for underground allowance. You know this allowance is given to whom? Employees working underground in coal mines. There is a movie also right now, you know. Yes. Yeah, Mission Raniganj. Okay, there was a movie right now, Akshay Kumar. Okay, there you saw people are working underground in the coal mines. Okay, means you have to work under the ground. See, firstly, working on the ground is comfortable. Now, if you have to go under the ground, so obviously the climate and the atmosphere there is not comfortable over there. Okay, and that too you have to work in a coal mines. So you will be totally black. Okay, so because of this pain in the job, you are given compensation, and that is called underground allowance. Means any employee who has to work in coal mines, see, actually for every mine you might be getting allowance, but exemption is given if you are working under the coal mines, because see, other mines are not that uncomfortable, but if someone has to work underground in a coal mine, then it is very painful, and for that if you are given allowance, then only it will be exempt. That means if in the question they give you underground allowance for some other mines, not coal mines, if it is some other mine, then it will be taxable. Exemption is only if you have to work underground in coal mines, and here the amount is fixed, 800 per month. Maximum 800 per month will be exempt. See, how much company will give you, it is a choice of the company. See, company might give you 1000 rupees per month, 5000 per month, just because you have to work under the ground in a coal mine. So what amount company has to give, it is their choice, it is their money. But what law feels that we are ready to exempt up to 800 per month, and they are exempting because they feel it is a necessary allowance. because they feel sympathetic and pity for the employee, that a poor employee has to go under the ground and he has to work in a coal mine. It's a bad suffering. So for that, if company gives the allowance, government feels he should be given, but they will give exemption of only up to 800 per month. So next was underground allowance. Look at this. For working underground in a coal mines, exemption is maximum 800 per month. Okay. Then in TC hut, next alphabet is T. T stands for allowances to employees of transport undertaking. Allowances to employees of transport undertaking. See, transport undertaking employees means what, for example, you are a truck driver or a bus driver and full day you have to drive the truck or the bus. So, in the process of driving, you have to take halt many times, you have to eat some food, you have to fill the diesel, you have to pay toll naka, many expenses you have to incur. So, for these expenses in the course of driving the truck or the bus, you are given an allowance. That means if you are an employee in the position of a driver, so you will get a basic salary, plus you will get some extra amount for expenses incurred in the course of driving. Because see, driving is not a simple job. Means these truck drivers and bus drivers, they take the bus and truck, they travel for full day. And full day, and they keep traveling throughout the day. And throughout the day, if they keep driving, what expenses they have to incur? Firstly, every time they have to repeatedly fill diesel. Okay. And then there are some toll charges. Okay. And then sometimes they have to repair the truck or the bus. And they also get tired, they want to eat something. So for these expenses, they are given some allowance. And even this allowance, law feels it is necessary. And wherever government feels it is necessary, government will exempt. So even this is exempt. But how much? 70% of whatever you receive. The logic of 70% is what? Government fees, whatever the driver gets, 70% is spent for official duties. But 30% is for personal expense. Like he has to eat. Every time he takes a halt while driving the bus, he gets down, he has to eat, he will drink tea, but that is his personal benefit. But whatever amount he has to spend for official purpose, like filling up the diesel, repairing the bus, or paying toll naka, toll charges, these are official expense. So law feels that 70% will assume it is spent for office purpose. And whatever is spent for office purpose, he has not enjoyed the benefit personally. Yes, some amount he is enjoying for his personal benefit, like he eats the food, he takes some snacks, he has some tea, etc. Okay, he might have some cold drink, whatever, but that is for his personal enjoyment. So that personal element, we assume it is 30%. It is just an assumption. See, exactly we are not going behind the driver. That wherever he goes, when he gets down for eating food and when he gets down for filling the diesel, we don't know exactly what is happening. But law feels that 70% is spent for official expenditure and 30% is for personal entertainment. And whatever is spent for office purpose, government says it should be exempted. So, and that is how much? 70%. But sometimes 70% amount can become a very big amount. So they have kept a limit also, maximum 10,000 per month. Because see, in case a driver gets 20,000 per month for these expenses. So 20,000 per month, 70% of that comes to 14,000. But government says no, 14,000 we don't want to exempt. We have a capacity maximum 10,000. So in short, there are two limits, 70% or 10,000. But then whichever is lower. See, whenever government has a double mind, so you have to stick to which mind? The one which is lower. And here why double mind? On one hand, government feels 70% should be exempted. But then on the other hand, government feels 70% can sometimes become a very big amount. Especially when the driver is getting a huge amount, so 70% will also become a big amount. So they want to limit it to maximum 10,000 per month. So that's why a formula has come now. Either 70% of whatever he gets from the boss or 10,000 per month, whichever is less. So this is for whom? Drivers, or not just driver, there are sometimes helpers also with the driver. Have you traveled by bus? See, whenever you go by bus outstation somewhere, so there is one driver, and along with the driver he has got some helper or some conductor, whatever. So even for them the rule is same. So whether you are a driver in the course of driving or you are just a helper, if you get this kind of allowances, the rule is same. See, I just use the example of driver repeatedly, but that doesn't mean it is only for the driver. The person who is involved in transportation. So, person involved in the transportation can be driver also as well as the helper also. Okay. So, see, what is the rule for this? Read. What I have written here, transport employee allowance. Means allowances received by transport employees. Okay. And the rule is 70% of what you receive or 10,000 per month, whichever is lower, whichever is less. See, I'll just take one example to show how to present in the exam. Look, assume in the question it is given that employee has received 20,000 per month. See, this 20,000 which I have written, I am assuming that the driver is getting from his boss 20,000 per month. So first what you will write? 20,000 per month into 12, you will write it in the inner column. See, 20,000 is just an example, some amount they give in the question, right? So whatever amount is given in the question, first you will write it in the inner column. Okay. And then what you will write, tell me? What will be the wording? Less. See this, less exempt under section 1014. All the allowances are exempt under section 1014. So you will write less exempt under section 1014. See here. And then what is the formula?
For 70% of.
So see, 70% of 2,40,000. See, he has received how much? 2,40,000. So first calculate 70% of that. That is how much? 1,68,000. 68,000. And 10,000 per month is a fixed amount. So multiply by 12 months. So that comes to 1,20,000. And then out of the two, whichever is lower. I hope you understand, this sign indicates whichever is lower. So what is lower? 1,20,000. So minus that, balance in the outer column. Okay. So this is allowances to employees of transport undertaking, whether you are a driver or a helper or a conductor, anyone involved in the transport activity. Okay. Then TC Hut, TC Udhar. Okay. Now see, next alphabet is, see, this TC Hut is done. Okay. Last we did was T. Okay. Now in TC Udhar, you will find one common thing. All the allowances are given for office purpose. Whether it is T, C, U, D, H, R. I will tell you the full form, but these are all allowances given for some office expense. See, like children education allowance was not for office expense. Children are your personal children. They were personal in nature. House rent allowance, that is your personal expenditure. You have to stay in a house, you have to pay the rent, so personal expenditure. But right now the allowances which are going to come up in TC Udhar, they are all allowances for office purpose. And since the nature of all the allowances in TC Udhar is same, the rule is also same. You know what is the rule? It will be exempt to the extent spent. For example, boss is giving you 100 and you have spent 50, so 50 will be exempt. To the extent spent, it will be exempt. I'll take an example and make you understand, but right now I want to say is TC Udhar, all the allowances, the rule is same. Means now you don't have to bother that for each allowance some different amounts will come. Now for all the allowances in TC Udhar, the rule is common. Exempt amount is the spent amount. Okay, see with example, wait. First let me take this T. T stands for traveling allowance. You know this traveling allowance is given to whom? Employees who has to repeatedly travel outstation. It is not for local traveling. For local traveling we say conveyance allowance. That will come next. Right now when we use the word traveling, travel word is used for long distance journey. Say for example an employee, he is situated in Mumbai, But due to some office work, sometimes he has to go to Bangalore, sometimes he has to go to Chennai, sometimes goes to New Delhi. So he keeps going outstation, not for his personal family holiday. It is for office purpose. So for that, don't you think every time he goes outstation, he has to purchase train tickets or flight tickets? So for that ticket expenditure, company gives him a fixed allowance. And you know why company is fixing an amount only on monthly basis? Because what company feels, every time you will have to go Bangalore, New Delhi, Kolkata, company feels we are not going to take ticket for that. You will get a fixed amount every month. You purchase the ticket with your own money now. Because see, otherwise it will create a trouble for the boss. What? Every time employee has to be sent to Bangalore, boss will have to purchase the ticket. And to book a ticket, it is not a simple thing, means unnecessary for silly things. Boss has to waste time. So what boss says, see, or booking the tickets and all that headache you take. And you don't worry, I will give you one fixed amount every month. And when a fixed amount is given every month, then only it can be called as an allowance. See, the speciality of allowance is what you know, it is not given randomly. It is fixed as a salary only. Every month a fixed amount will be given. And I'm just justifying that why a fixed amount is given. Because the employee has to repeatedly travel. Every 10-15 days he goes outstation. And every time he goes outstation, booking the ticket for him, it will increase the work of the boss. So boss says that headache you take, booking the ticket and all, because you have to frequently travel. But don't worry, you are traveling for my office work, so I will give you the money as a fixed amount on monthly basis. Then it becomes a traveling allowance. Okay. Now, let's assume boss has given him every month 2000 fixed. So 2000 is what he is receiving. But out of that, how much will be exempt? That depends upon how much he has spent. Because the boss is giving a lump sum amount on monthly basis. Every month you keep 2000, 2000, 2000, 2000. But his actual travel, sometimes it is less, sometimes it is more. Some month it doesn't travel only. So depending upon how much he has actually spent, that much amount will be exempt. And how much he has spent, we will not come to know as a student. It will be given in the question. In the question, they will also give you how much he has received and they will also give you how much he has spent. And one thing is sure, how much he has received will be a fixed monthly amount. But whatever he has spent, that actual amount they will give in the question. So see, for example, look. In the question, traveling allowance is given like this. Read. 1000 per month is given. So 1000 per month means this is what he is actually receiving from the boss. See, allowances you don't receive separately. Last lecture what did I say? Your monthly salary you get a check. So in that monthly salary check, that allowance is automatically included. It is just while teaching the student, it is discussed as a separate item. See, here a separate item, traveling allowance 1000 per month. But in real life, that 1000 was not given as a separate amount. Whatever is his salary, 25,000, 19,000, 40,000, it is included in that only. Okay, but in this statement, we have to present as a separate item. Okay, see, our statement is like this only. Each item you have to present separately. Although boss might be giving you a single common check, but in the statement you have to show the breakup of each item, because for each item the income tax rules are different. Okay. So anyways, traveling allowance, I just wanted to say, you get it along with your monthly salary only, but I have to show you separately. So let's assume he received 1000 per month. Wait, by the way, how employee will come to know in his monthly salary what is his basic and what is his traveling allowance? He is given a salary slip. Employee is given a salary slip, and with that slip he will come to know. See, normally employees don't bother, they just want to see this much money I have got, I will put it in my bank, that's it. But if you are interested, company will give you a salary slip. With that you can understand, oh, this is my basic and this is my traveling allowance, this is my house rent allowance. You will come to know the exact breakup. Okay. And that breakup is useful for a chartered accountant. Because a chartered accountant has to decide the treatment of each item with the breakup. Okay. So tell me, in the salary breakup, traveling allowance is 1000 per month. So first what you will do, write it in the inner column. Now from this you have to see how much he has actually spent on his outstation tours. Okay, and that will be given in the question. So let's assume in the question they have given 5000 years spent. But then why did he receive 12,000? Because see, boss is not measuring his tours. Boss has fixed an amount on monthly basis. Imagine your employee, I fixed an amount. Every month I'll give you 1,000. But that doesn't mean, does it mean that you will travel with 1,000 only? You may travel less also, okay? And normally boss will give you an amount little bit on higher side. Okay, mostly they will give you an amount little bit on higher side and your actual expenditure may be little less. Okay, so in this case it is like this only, your actual amount spent is only 5000. So 5000 exempt, and this 5000 will be given in the question. Please don't by heart. See, in TC Hut you had to by heart the amounts. Okay, 200, 800 and that formula 70%, remember? But in TC Udhar there is nothing to by heart. Exemption depends upon how much is spent and spent amount will be given in the question. So in my example it is given as 5000. So minus 5000, outer column 7000. But see, for you it is given in the question 5000. So you take 5000. But you know what happens in real life? In real life what people say that I have fully spent. Because no one is going to ask for the actual tickets. That you have spent fully, show where did you go? Did you go to Bangalore? What was the price of the ticket? You went to Chennai, what was the price of the ticket? They are not going to check in detail. See, I am not saying income tax department do not do any checking. They do checking, but they are mostly behind a businessman. Because businessman does lot of manipulation in his profit calculation. So their focus is mostly on a businessman. Salaried people, they pay less attention. And right now we are discussing a salaried person. So salaried person will usually say what? That I have fully spent. No one on this earth is so honest and genuine that he will say, no, my boss gave me 12,000, but I have spent only 5,000. So if you say honesty is good, but then 7,000 will become taxable. But usually people are tax evaders. No one likes to pay tax. So what people say that I received 12,000 but my traveling was so much that I had to spend everything. He will say everything is spent. Okay. And everything is spent means full 12,000 minus. And in the outer column it will become 0. And see, this outer column amount is most important. Lesser the total, lesser will be your tax. Okay. Anyways, that is in real life. In exam, don't act over smart. That why are you saying 5,000 only? You should say you have spent fully. In exam, don't go against the question. If in the question only they have said he has spent 5,000, you minus 5,000. You should not act over smart. Yes, in real life, if you get some client as a chartered accountant, if he says, no, I have spent only 5,000, then you act over smart. Don't say 5,000. Say fully spent, so that there is no tax. Okay, but that is in real life. Exam, honestly you write whatever is spent in the question. Okay, so this was traveling allowance. Now see, this same rule is applicable for all the items of TC Udhar. But see, wait, one more doubt. Some students had asked me the doubt, sir, what if it is 15,000 you spent? Because see, your boss gives you a lump sum amount every month. Okay. And that is just an estimated amount. Every month, 1,000. So in our example, it comes to 12,000. 12,000 he was given. Okay. Now what if your actual amount spent is 15,000? So if it is 15,000, then it is fully exempt. Because see, in real life, you see, Spent amount means maximum to the amount of spent, you will be exempted. So if your spent amount is 15,000, you cannot make it negative. Because in real life, take it on you. If you have spent little more, you are going to recover it from your boss. You are going to recover it from your boss. What will you tell your boss? That sir, you gave me every month 1,000 for traveling purpose. And that came to 12,000. But this year I had to travel a lot for your office work. I had to spend 15,000. Give me 3,000 more. You will recover it. And no employee will leave it. Imagine if you are employee, will you leave your money?
No.
You will say, I didn't go for my personal travel. It was not my holiday with my family. I had gone for office tour. So if you have to spend more, you are going to recover it. In short, you should not worry that 12,000 minus 15, I will show a loss. Your loss will not come. See, this is not deduction. This is an exemption. Means your income, government can at the most exempt fully. You receive 12,000, so it will be fully exempt. You cannot create a loss. See, loss comes where, like in income from other source, we had one sum.
Yes.
That to generate the income, you spent more amount. Then you create a loss. But a salaried person will never make loss. Think practically. Will a salaried person will go in loss?
No.
Losses can occur under the head capital gains. Income from business, income from others, so house property also. Sometimes your house maintenance is so much, but you are getting less rent. Because there you are working independently. But when you are working like an employee as a job, will you ever suffer loss? In case you have to spend something from your pocket also, you will not leave your boss. You will recover it. So under salary, loss is never possible to be imagined. Okay. See why I am saying this, because some students, you know what they do, 12,000 minus 15,000, they write negative amount. Why negative amount? In case you have spent more also, you are going to recover it from your boss. So nothing goes from your pocket. Okay. But that has not come in the sum till now ever. It is just students usually ask me the doubt. So that's why I told you first only that in case you are thinking that what if sir we have spent little more, so let it be, you will make it 0 in the outer column. 0 means it is fully exempt. Okay. Okay, one more thing. In case amount spent is not given, means this amount is not given only. You just know that he has received 1,000 per month, that way 12,000. Spent amount is not given. Assume fully spent. And it is a better assumption because see in real life, the one who gets traveling allowance, it is not free of cost. Only if he has to actually travel for office work, he is given. Otherwise, an employee who sits full day in the office, why will boss giving traveling allowance? The fact that he is given traveling allowance, definitely he travels. But we don't know his actual travel amount. So we have to assume fully spent. In short, what I was saying, if spent amount is not given, then we can assume fully spent. Because one thing is for sure, he has spent definitely. Otherwise, if an employee doesn't have to travel, doesn't have to spend, no boss is a fool to give him traveling allowance. So if he has given traveling allowance, one thing is sure, it is spent. But if we don't know the amount spent, so assume fully spent, fully exempt. Okay. So this was T, traveling allowance. See, we are at TC Udhar, TC Hut, TC Udhar. Now in TC Udhar, T we have done traveling allowance. Next alphabet is C, conveyance allowance. You know what is the difference between traveling and conveyance? Traveling is for long distance traveling, outstation, and conveyance is within the city. For example, an employee has to travel within the city only by local train, local buses, auto rickshaw, and it is, say for example, employee situated in Mumbai. So sometimes he has to go to Borivali, sometimes he has to go to Churchgate, sometimes he has to go to Bandra. So it is all local traveling. For that he is given conveyance allowance. But even that is for office purpose only. Imagine an employee is an office boy. He is a peon. He has to travel here and there again and again. Sometimes by local train, sometimes by auto rickshaw. So he has to spend. And for that small spending, every time boss will not give the money. He will fix up an amount every month. Otherwise, you think how irritating it will be if my pune says, sir, today I went by auto rickshaw, give me 18 rupees. Today I went by local train, give me 10 rupees. So every time I'm not going to remove the money for him. I will fix an amount on monthly basis. As I said, allowances are fixed amount on monthly basis. Every month I will give him a fixed amount on estimated basis. And usually boss will give little higher only. And then out of that, whatever is spent, exempt, balance, taxable. Rule is same. Whatever is spent will be exempt, balance will be taxable. Okay, now see one good thing. Can you tell me the difference between, wait, commutation allowance,
For commutation, it is
traveling and conveyance? See this. See, this drawing will make very clear. This is office, this is residence. Okay. Now, for this journey, what you get is called commutation allowance. Okay. Now, once you reach the office, for office work, if you have to go outstation, then it is traveling. Okay. And if you have to travel within the city, it is conveyance. You know what is this I have drawn? This is the city boundary. This is the limits of the city. See, for example, we are in Mumbai city. So beyond this, you are gone out of Mumbai. Okay, outstation. And this is outstation or in station. So for in station traveling, it is called conveyance. And for outstation, it is traveling. And between office and residence, your regular routine journey, that is commutation. Okay, now tell me the treatment of all. This is also exempt. This is also exempt. This is also exempt. But this is exempt only for handicapped employee with a fixed amount of maximum 3,200 per month. Correct? And what about traveling? Amount exempt will be up to the amount spent. Even conveyance allowance amount exempt will be up to the amount spent. But for commutation, we don't see amount spent. See, commutation is actually a personal travel. Because coming to office every day and going back to home, it's a personal journey. You do anything at that time, your personal work, because you are out of office actually. See, when you travel in this distance, it becomes a personal travel. And for personal expenses, there is no rule of amount spent. Did you notice when the allowances are for personal purpose, government fixes an amount up to this much. And if something is for office purpose, there is no fixed amount, depends upon whatever you spend. And do you agree that commutation allowance is not office purpose? It is a personal journey. Going to office, going back to home, that is a personal journey. Okay. So see, this thing you should draw. I will also draw it neatly when I share the notes today. For this journey, what I will write? Commutation. Okay, and then within the city, it is conveyance. And outside the city, it becomes a traveling. Okay, so this kind of thing I will draw when I share the notes. I have not already drawn it, but I hope you understand the difference between all. So, where were we? T, traveling. C, conveyance allowance. U for uniform allowance. Some employees have to work in uniform. For example, an employee is working in an airline company, is a pilot or air hostess. So pilots, air hostess, they have to work in a particular uniform, or you're a watchman, security guard. So if employee has to work in uniform, there are expenditure related to uniform. Purchasing the uniform, maintaining the uniform, and maintaining is a regular work. Purchase of uniform is only one time, say twice in a year or once in a year. But maintaining is a regular activity, but that will again increase your expense. And that is also expense of office. For that also company gives you allowance. But this allowance is not given to everyone. Huh? It is only to those who have to work in a particular uniform. Like air hostess, pilots, watchmen, security guard, factory workers, they are given uniform allowance. And here also the rule is same. Exempt up to the amount spent. So for example, in the question they give you uniform allowance 1,000 per month. So first what you will do, 1000 per month into 12, 12,000 inner column. Then less exam under section 1014. Then how much? That will be given in the question. Amount spent will be given. If they say 4,800 minus 4,800. And in case amount spent is not given, assume fully spent. In short, see, for every allowance in TCU, the rule is same. Only the name of the allowance is differing. Even the nature is same. Nature means all are for office. But every allowance has a different name. Traveling, conveyance, uniform. But everything is for office purpose. Then next alphabet is D. D for daily allowance. D for daily allowance. You know what is the daily allowance? Look here. Look. See, I will draw this thing once again. Right now, what did I say? For your journey between office and residence, you are given commutation allowance. Okay. And then, if you have to travel within the city only, local traveling, that is conveyance. Okay. And then, if you have to go outstation, long distance journey, then it is a traveling allowance. Correct. Now, focus on traveling allowance. Now, tell me, an employee who has to go outstation, he will have to stay in hotel because his house is in Mumbai, and if boss is sending him to Bangalore every time or Chennai every time or Hyderabad every time, so he has to go outstation and he doesn't have a home there, so he will stay in a hotel. So look here, hotel. So these expenses are also his expense. They are also expense for office purpose. And see, it is not just about the hotel. Every day he has to eat food. Okay. So for his expenses on day-to-day basis when he is outstation, he is given daily allowance. You know why the word daily? Daily means it is for your day-to-day expenses when you are outstation. You might have gone outstation for 15 days, 10 days, but whatever you are gone out of station and there you have to stay in a hotel, you will have to make arrangement of food on daily basis. For that day-to-day expense, you are given daily allowance. So see, in this drawing, actually I have highlighted 4 allowances. Commutation, conveyance, traveling, and the expenses of hotel, etc. See, hotel is just an example. Any expense when you are outstation. See, if you have to work in your city only, then there will be no extra expense. But if you are sent outstation to a different city, obviously going to a different city, apart from the plane tickets, you have to incur other expense, arrangement of staying in a hotel, etc., etc. For that you are given daily allowance. But the rule is same. Even this is for some office work, so it will be exempt to the extent spent. Wait, he had a doubt? Yeah. No. Traveling allowance is typically for tickets. See, when company gives you traveling allowance, it is only for the tickets, cost of the tickets. Whether you go by airline or by train, it is only for ticket. The word travel means a field word travel. Travel means tickets. And for your other expenses when you go outstation, you are given daily allowance. See, although the word daily is very general term, but actually in real life it is not for general thing, it is for your day-to-day expense when you are outstation. Okay. So in short, an employee who has to regularly go outstation, he is given 2 allowance. For the tickets, traveling allowance, and for his other expenses outstation, he is given daily allowance. Okay. Then TC Udhar. In Udhar, next alphabet is H. H stands for helper allowance. Helper allowance. Now see, for example, an employee, he has got lot of work in the office. So much of work he has started complaining his boss. Boss, what is this? I have also my personal life. Full day I have to sit in the office. So much of work, what to do? I am not able to manage. Every day my wife is fighting with me that you don't come to home on time. I doubt you, etc. So it is creating problem in my personal life. In short, employees complaining about workload in the office, and he is finding the workload is too much. So in such case, boss will say what? See, I can't help. I know you are fed up with the excessive workload, but then work has to be done. I cannot reduce my business. My business is increasing, so your workload is also increasing. But I have sympathy with you, full sympathy. So what boss told him, do one thing, you keep an assistant. You keep an assistant, he will help you in office work. And don't worry about his salary. I will give you a fixed amount to you and you pay him salary. Because see what boss says, I don't have time to search an assistant for you. But you feel overburdened with the office work, you can hire an assistant. I am giving you the authority, you hire an assistant. His job will be to help you, helper. And obviously he will not help you free of cost. He will also expect some salary. You pay him. And for that I will give you helper allowance. Means I will allow you some money to keep a helper. Okay. So this is helper allowance. So tell me here the transaction will be like this. First boss will give a fixed amount to the employee every month in the name of helper allowance. And then employee will hire some assistant and he will also spend on him. And what is the rule? Whatever he actually spends will be exempt. In short, the rule everywhere is same. First you have to see how much company is giving. So that you will write in the inner column like this. And then how much he is actually spending, that also is given in the question. You minus it. Okay. So this was helper allowance. See, I told you first only, all the allowances are having same rule. Reason, because all allowances are for office purpose. And what is the mentality of government, whether it is traveling, conveyance, uniform, after all, everything is for office purpose. So for us, it's one and the same. That's why the rule is one and the same. Exempt amount depends on how much you spent. Then last is research allowance. R for research allowance. Now research means employee's job is to keep doing research. Maybe an employee is a scientist. And as a scientist, he works in a company and does normal work also, plus he has to do some R&D. But if he has to do some R&D activities, R&D means research and development, obviously he will have to do some trial and error experiments. For that he needs money. So company has given him authority, don't worry, your salary is 1 lakh, I will give you 20,000 extra. I will give you 1,20,000. That extra 20,000 I am giving you for doing research. Means for research expenditure he is given extra amount. And see, if company gives him some extra amount, employee will also feel like doing some research. Otherwise, what employee will do? Why should I do research? Although I am a scientist, if I do research, who will be benefited? My boss. Why should I do? That employee mentality will come. That's why companies say, don't worry, you do research and don't worry about the expenditure research. I will give you one fixed amount every month. And that becomes research allowance. So, TC udhar, T for traveling, C for conveyance, U for uniform, D for what was daily allowance? When you have to go outstation, for the tickets you get traveling allowance, and for other day-to-day expense you get daily allowance. Okay, then helper allowance, R for research allowance. But everywhere the rule is same. See, in this one presentation, everything is understood. See, whether it is traveling or whatever. First write the given amount in the inner column and then minus what is spent. Balance in the outer column. At the most what will happen? Spent amount you feel it's not given. So there also I told you, if spent amount is not given, then minus full. Assume fully spent and fully exempt. Okay. So all the allowances are taught. Now what is remaining? H. H for house rent allowance. See, are you noticing why this group and this group is different? Because these are mostly personal types. Not necessarily personal, but they are not pure office expense allowance. See, yes, this transport employees, drivers, Their allowance for little bit personal, little bit office also. What? This transport allowance for employees of transport company, drivers, that allowance for little bit in personal nature, little bit office nature. Why personal? Because the driver has to have food also while driving the bus or truck. So that becomes his personal expenditure, and he has to fill the diesel, toll charges, that is office. So that was a mixed nature. That's why 70% is exempt, assuming it's for office. But apart from that, all other are personal in nature type. That's why the group is kept different, and everywhere there is a formula or an amount. Like in tribal area, there is an amount 200 per month. And in all the 3 C's, children education, children hostel and community, there was fixed amount. And in house rent allowance also, there is a formula. Underground allowance a fixed amount, 800 per month. And here the fixed formula, 70% or 10,000 per month, which is less. In short, what am I making you notice that here some fixed amounts and formulas are there. But in TC Udar, nothing is fixed. Amount spent will be the amount exempt. Because all are for office purpose only. That's why I have made it as a different group. Otherwise, see, I could have done like this. In T only, I could have said T2. Because there are 2 T's in the whole keyword. But I wanted to keep TC Udar as a separate group. Okay. And TC Hut as a separate group. Otherwise, if I merge, then there would have been only one keyword. TC Udar. How? This T I can merge here. This T also I can merge here. All these C's also I can merge here. In this one keyword also I could have finished everything. How? 3 T's. How 3? Tribal and the transport companies, driver, etc. and this traveling. So I could have merged and made a single keyword. Okay, and that would have sound simple, but it would have created confusion. It is better to keep the group of TC Udar separate, because these are allowances for office purpose. And these are not for office purpose. These are compensatory, personal type allowances, and here there are some fixed amounts. Okay. Now see, what is remaining is H. H for house rent allowance. Now see here. For house rent allowance, there is a formula. Okay. Now see, first I will do one thing. I will mechanically use the formula and explain how to solve. Then I will explain the logic. That what is the logic of this amount, what is the logic of this 50%. That logic part I will explain after some time. First you should know how to solve. Because there our half work is done. And the balance half is to explain the reason that why. Logic part. Okay. So logic I will explain after some time. First do one thing, directly try this one. Assume in the question, house rent allowance is given 6,000 per month. Assume it is given 6,000 per month. See, some amount will be given in the question. Okay. Let us see how to use the formula. And see, using the formula is not a big thing. But knowing the logic is a big thing. That I will explain after some time. First, let us solve. What is this 6,000? What is it? This is the amount which company has actually given him. Every time you feel you are an employee and consider me as your boss, okay? So assume every month I am giving you 6,000, 6,000, 6,000. So every month 6,000. So for the whole year how much? 12,000. Sorry, 72,000. So this I will write first in the inner column because it is exempt. But now how much you will minus here for this? There is a formula. Okay. So let us use the formula without understanding the logic for the time being. So tell me first, what should I write here? Less? No. You should not directly start any formula. First you have to write the dialogue. Exam. Under section 1013A. So no, here it is not 1014. All the allowances are exempt under section 1014. But this is under 1013A. You know how to remember? HRA 13A. A, the sound of A. See, HRA is a very famous short form. People never say house rent allowance. It is commonly called as HRA. So how to HRA 1013A, HRA 1013A. So relate with that A, and all other allowances 1014. Okay. Now what is the first amount in the formula? 50% of salary. Now let's assume our employee's salary is 6 lakhs. See, his salary will be given in the question. Let's assume it is 6 lakhs. So first find 50% of 6 lakhs, how much? 3 lakhs. So see here. Keep checking. Is it right? Then what is the second amount? Actual amount received by him. See, actual amount received means 6,000. See, imagine you are an employee. So if I ask you what is the amount you received from your boss, 6,000 only. 6,000 is the actual amount received. So, but that is per month. So into 12, 72,000 means this is the same amount, 70,000. Then rent paid minus 10% of salary. So rent paid means what? How much rent he is paying? Because see, why is he getting HRA? Because he has to stay in a rented house. So obviously employee might be knowing the rent which he is paying. If you stay in a rented house, will you not know the rent which you are paying? And that will be given in the question, and that has to be given. So assume rent paid by him is?
96,000.
See, don't worry about all this data. Every data will be given in the question. So rent paid 96,000 minus 10% of salary. His salary is how much? 6 lakhs. 10% that comes to 60,000. So accordingly, this comes to 36,000. Now see this black figures. 1, 2, 3. Out of the 3, we have to select whichever is lower. So what is lower?
36,000.
36,000 is the lower amount. Okay. So this we will minus see 36,000. Balance in the outer column. This 36,000 has come from here. But see, you never know, out of 1, 2, 3, anything can be lower. So see, solving is not a big deal. If I ask you just buy at the formula, you will buy it happily. But in long run, you will get frustrated. What is it? Every time sir is asking you to buy at something. So if you don't understand the logic, you will feel frustrated. So now you guess the logic first, then I will explain. Means what is the logic behind this formula? 1, 2, 3, whichever is less. See, you should never think, no, it's a law, it's a rule, we have to buy it. See, it is a law. Income tax is a law, but there is a logic behind the law. Okay. See the one, for example, currently who is the finance minister? Nirmala Sitharaman. Nirmala Sitharaman also, if she makes any rule, there is some thinking. And if that thinking you understand, then only you are understanding the real taxation. Otherwise, this formula, by adding the formula is not a big deal. You will find this in the study material also. But knowing the logic is important. Think. And logic of all this is not written in the act. I am able to tell you based on so many years of experience. Because 24/7 I am into income tax only. Since 25 years, more than that. So based on experience I will be able to tell you, but let me make it clear, in the Income Tax Act, they don't tell you the reason. This is the rule, follow, that's it. So guess what should be the logic behind this? Okay, I'll do one thing, try one by one. What is the thinking behind this? Then this and so on. First, focus on this because my explanation will also start with this. So see here, first he tell me why government is exempting house rent allowance. Why government doesn't say house rent allowance you received, pay the tax, taxable? It is not taxable, it is exempt. But why? Because government feels pity that you don't have your own house. So paying the rent is a burden. Do you agree? See, people who are having their own house, they are blessed. Because having your own house means it is a blessing. But people who don't have their own house, they have to stay in a
Rented house.
rented house. Do you agree that rent is a burden?
Yes.
So government is feeling your burden. Oh my God, you don't have house. You have to stay in a rented house. So rent is a burden. But you know, rent is a burden when you have to pay so much of rent. If 10% of your salary, if you have to shell out on rent, it is not a big deal. See, God has not given you your own house. You have to pay rent. And that also, if you have to pay up to 10% of salary only, then it is not a burden. Because see, look, imagine my salary over is 6 lakhs. So what is 10% of that?
50,000.
10% of that is 60,000. Means if I have to spend 60,000 on rent, then government will not feel sympathy. Government will say, big deal. You don't have house, you're bad luck. And so you have to pay rent, you pay. And that also you are paying only 60,000. It is not a burden. But if you have to pay more than 60,000, then government will feel it's a burden. That means see, up to 10% of your salary, if you have to spend on rent, it is not a big amount. Because see, whatever income you are getting, obviously we understand your whole income, you will not spend on rent. Why do you earn income? For your livelihood. You want to grow your children, you want to eat food, you have to arrange food for family. There are many expenses in family. But whole salary you will not put in rent. But out of your full salary of 6 lakhs, if you have to pay 10%, 10%, actual logic of 10%, it is a nominal amount. It is just a small amount. 10%, it is nothing. Means out of 6 lakhs, if you have to pay rent of,
10%.
means how much? 60,000. So it is nothing. But this guy says, no, I am paying rent of 96,000. Then government feels, oh my God, then it's a burden on you. Means if you would have paid 60,000, look here, wait. If you would have paid 60,000, then we will not feel sympathetic for you. We will not feel pity on you. But you have to pay 96,000. So what is the extra amount?
36,000.
This extra amount is pinching you. Okay, this extra amount is pinching you. That means this is a burden. See, you should not say 96,000 is full burden. Why? Little bit amount if you have to spend, it is not a burden. And little bit means what? 60,000. But over and above 60,000, if you have to pay 96, then 36,000 becomes your burden. And if your burden is 36,000, you know what government feels? You should get a support of 36,000 from the boss. You should get, see, you need support when there is a burden. So if government says your burden is 36,000, then your boss should give you 36,000. But employee says, no, my boss is giving 72,000. So your boss is generous. Let him give, it is his money. But what we feel, that a person having a burden of 36,000 should get 36. And if you get 36, we are ready to exempt. Because it is justified. You should get that much. But how much? 36. But see this guy, he received 72,000. Then government says you are getting some extra only. Then you pay tax on the extra amount. This is the logic, okay? So see, if you just buy it like a formula, rent paid minus 10% without using the brain, what is the meaning of this? Then it is a wrong way to study, okay? So the right approach is 10% of salary means what? It is a nominal amount. That much if someone has to spend on rent, not a big deal. And law will say that you are not having a your own house, you have to stay in a rented house. So this much so you will have to spend, na? And this must be 60,000. But in case you have to pay little more, then we feel pity that the rent has become a burden in your life. And if there is a burden of 36,000, your boss should give you 36,000. But sometimes your bosses are generous. They give you little more. So let him give, it is his money. But we feel it is extra given to you. So it will be taxable. Now, what is the logic of this amount then? Okay, now my next target is to explain what is the logic of 50% of salary. See, actual amount received logic is simple. What? For example, here in my example, what did I say? You have 36,000 burden. And if your boss is giving only 24,000, means your burden is 36. And boss is giving only 24, fully exempt. Means full 24 will become exempt. And in the comparison, whichever is lower, what is, for the time you ignore this, right? Actual amount received, why it is there in the formula? So that if your actual amount received is less, then it is received in the limit, fully exempt. So best example is, for the time being, if I take this as 24,000, then understand conceptually that government feels your burden is 36, and if you are actually receiving only 24, that means you should be fully exempted. You are not even getting 36, only 24, tax free. And in the formula, whichever is lower, automatically 24 will be lower. And when you prepare the statement, inner column 24 minus also 24, outer column 0. Correct or not? If this is 24, this amount is nothing but the one which is in the inner column. And minus also 24. So actual amount received I don't have to justify. Okay. But what is the logic of this 50%? So see, for example, I will make one change here. Look. Assume this amount of 96,000 I am changing. What if this was 4 lakhs? 10,000. Means assume he is paying rent of, wait, what is 4 lakh 10,000? Rent actually paid by him. Means imagine he is staying in a sophisticated house for which he is paying a rent of 4 lakh 10,000. Feel his salary is how much? 6 lakhs. Person earning a salary of 6 lakhs, 4 lakh 10,000 is spending on rent. He is mad. He doesn't have other expense or what? The only expense is rent for him, it seems. So in short, the example is little weird, but just for the sake of understanding, what if the rent paid is 4 lakh 10,000 then? Then in such case, you know what government will say? See, 60,000 if you have to pay, it is not a burden because 60,000 is just 10% of your salary. So it is a nominal amount, so that is not a burden. But you have to pay 4 lakhs 10,000. Oh my God, so much you are paying. So what is the extra amount? 3 lakh 50,000. So his burden is 3 lakh 50,000. But now government will say what, see, we understand you have got a burden of 3 lakh 50,000, but we have also a capacity to help you. We can help you maximum 50% of your salary. And what is your salary? 6 lakhs. 50% of that? 3 lakhs is the maximum budget. We understand, we have full pity that you have to suffer a burden of 3 lakh 50,000. But then we have our capacity. See, just because employees having so much burden, government is not going to get so emotional that your burden is 350. We are ready to exempt till 350. See, government doesn't get so much of emotional. See, for example, there is one poor child. He is in need of 1 crore. Okay, 1 crore is too much. He is in need of say 2 lakhs. He desperately needs this for his mother's treatment. So I feel like helping. But in my pocket I have got only 50,000. So I will be able to help only 50. Although that poor child deserves 1 lakh. But in my pocket only I have got. So I will help according to my budget. So this is kind of government's pocket. See, government also has budget to help people. If government gets so much emotional, oh, this guy has a burden of 3,50,000. So if he gets 3,50,000, we will exempt fully. And if he gets more than 3,50,000, we will tax. Means now government will not help you till 3,50,000. Now government will limit to its 50% of salary. In short, this 50% salary means what? This is the maximum exemption which government can give. Then even though your burden is too much, sorry, we have full sympathy with your burden, but we can help at the most 50% of salary. See, did you understand my feeling? I wanted to create so much burden, 3,50,000. So government will feel pity that 3,50,000 is so much burden. I don't know how you might be surviving, so much of rent you have to pay. We feel full sympathy for you. But sorry, we can't help beyond 3 lakhs. What is 3 lakhs?
50% of salary.
50% of salary. Salary, in our example, it is 6 lakhs. Huh? This depends upon question to question. See. So this is government's maximum budget. Now tell me, what if this employee has actually received 4 lakh, say 7 lakhs 20,000. Assume he has received 7 lakh 20. His burden is 3 lakh 50 and this is 3 lakhs. So how will you present this? In the statement, how will you show? First, you will write house rent allowance in the inner column 7 lakh 20. See, 7 lakh 20 is what he has actually received from the boss. So, in the inner column, first you will write 7 lakh 20. Then exemption will be how much?
3 lakhs.
Out of the 3, whichever is less. So, what is less? 3 lakhs. But here 3 lakh 50,000 burden has lost the importance. Because government says we understand it's a burden on you, but sorry, we are not doing a charity. We can help you up to a limit. And what is the limit? 3 lakhs. Means up to 3 lakhs we can exempt you. But your boss is so generous, he gave you 7 lakh 20. That is too much. At the most we can exempt 3 lakhs. See, employee has got 2 persons. One is his boss who gives money. And one is government who gives exemption. And regarding boss, he can give anything he wants. He might give, he might not give anything. He might give too much also. But that is boss's money. But employee has to go as per the rules of the government. And government's rule we are learning right now. Okay. What boss will give, it is the boss's choice. But what is the thinking of government, that I am teaching you. So government's first thinking was what we will see your burden. And if your burden, we feel it is, we can help you, we will exempt that much. But if you are having so much of burden, which is going beyond our capacity to help, what is our capacity to help? Maximum 3 lakhs. Then we cannot do anything. Okay. So this was the understanding of the formula. Finally, you have to by heart now. This is the burden. See, when you are making your own notes, you can also write, this difference will show the burden on the employee, and government wants to exempt this fully, this much amount. But sometimes the burden is so much that government has to restrict itself to its limit, and the limit is maximum 50% of your salary. Okay. Now see, salary means what? Salary means what? See, the allowances which you get, that also comes, monthly salary. Salary means what? So here also law has defined. See here, Your salary means basic salary. Dearness allowance. What is dearness allowance? I will explain in some time. And then turnover commission. Meaning I will explain. But these three items you have to total up. That will give you this salary. Of that you have to take 50%. And that will give us the maximum exemption which government is ready to give you. With due respect to your burden, we can help you maximum 50% of your salary. And your salary means basic, dearness allowance and turnover commission. Meaning I will tell you one more thing. This same basic plus DA plus turnover commission will be used in this 10% formula also. 10% of what? Salary means what? Basic salary, dearness allowance and turnover commission. Okay. Now what is the meaning of this I'll tell you. But see, just for the sake of example, look. Assume in the question they give you basic salary 2 lakhs. Read this part. Basic salary 2 lakhs, dearness allowance 4 lakhs, medical allowance 1 lakh, helper allowance 1 lakh, traveling allowance 3 lakhs, house rent allowance 72,000. So as an employee you are getting so many things in your salary. But in the formula, everything will not come. Reason I will tell you, wait, have patience. Right now just realize one thing, that as an employee you get so many things in salary. Like this employee is getting what things? Basic, DA, medical, helper, traveling, HRA. So many things is getting. And everything comes in his monthly salary check. So as an employee he gets so many things. But in the formula, you will not take so many things. You will take only 3 things. Which 3 things? Basic salary, dearness allowance and turnover commission. Now see, reason I will tell you that why do you take only these 3 things. I have a reason for this also. But first let me explain what is basic salary you know. What is dearness allowance? Yes, dearness allowance is an allowance to face inflation. It is an allowance to face inflation. You know, inflation is horrifying. You know, when inflation, see, rich people don't realize. But a person who is middle class or below middle class, you know, he is terrified by inflation because inflation means things become costly and he has to spend more. And a poor middle class or a below middle class person, he hardly has some income. So inflation is a torture or not? So for that torture, boss will give you dearness allowance. Why it is called dearness, I will tell you. But see, you know what happens in real life? Imagine you are an employee, I am your boss. You know what I will tell you? See, you have to do this clerical work. Your salary will be 10,000. Your salary will be 10,000 plus I will give you dearness allowance 2,000. Which is 2,000 right now. But in future if there is inflation, I will make it 3,000. Which amount? Dearness allowance. Means I have kept dearness allowance in your package. Why? You know, whenever there is inflation, I will increase your dearness allowance. Because in inflation your expenses will increase. So you want your salary should also increase. So which salary will increase? The dearness allowance component. You know, companies what they do, they keep your basic constant. So in my example, what did I say? I have fixed your basic as 10,000 and your dearness allowance is 2,000. So that 10,000 basic salary will remain constant. That will now move according to inflation. Yes, if you are promoted, promotion, then obviously then I will say, okay, till now your basic was 10,000, now I will make it 15,000 because it is your promotion. But assuming there is no promotion, that basic will remain same. But then due to inflation, your cost and your expenses will rise. How to survive? For that, company says, don't worry. Along with basic salary, I am giving you 2,000 dearness allowance. That dearness allowance is for that only. Whenever there is inflation, your dearness allowance will increase. Because if your dearness allowance will increase, you will get more money and you can face the inflation. And you know why it is called dearness? Because in inflation, things becomes cheaper or costly? Costly. So your money becomes dear. Money becomes dear means, see, when you call he is my dear friend, dear means most precious, means you cannot lose him, means you value him a lot. Costly is dearly. Costly and dearly is one and the same. But in our friends, we don't say, he is my costly friend. He is my dear friend. Why? Actually, it's costly. Costly means he is valuable. I cannot lose him. All other friends are nonsense. They are all cheap. But he is costly. See, costly is a casual term right now I'm using. But we don't say costly, we say dear. He is dearest. So when something is dear, that means he is very costly, he is very valuable. So in inflation, things becomes costly. So with the word costly, there is another word dear. So dearness allowance. Because the things are becoming costly due to inflation, you are given dearness allowance. Okay. So something becoming dearer and dearer means it will becoming more valuable and costly. Okay. And every employee will get this dearness allowance. See the other allowance which I am teaching, traveling allowance, uniform allowance, these some employee might get, some might not get. But in most of the big company, every employee will get dearness allowance along with basic. It is a fixed item. Because see, every employee, whether you work in Reliance, Infosys, L&T, whichever company you work, every employee has to suffer inflation. And for inflation, every company will give you dearness allowance. You work anywhere, it is a fixed item. See, other things which I am teaching, today I taught you helper allowance. Rarely you will listen. Research allowance, rarely you will find. But dearness allowance, every employee gets. And what is this turnover commission? Turnover means sales. So imagine you are an employee, your job and profile is marketing. And company has told you that you have to do the marketing of our product. And depending upon the sales which you do for the company, you will get 10% commission. For example, I can tell my staff, depending upon how many admissions you secure, I will give you 10% commission. It's a turnover commission. Turnover means the business. If you bring more business, you will get a commission based on a percentage of that. So that is called turnover commission. And even this is received by everyone who is in marketing. Disclaimer, only if you are in marketing. Yes, if your profile is not marketing, simply accounting job, then you will not get. But assuming you are in a marketing profile, you are a sales executive, then this is also fixed. And you know what is the logic of taking these three things? These are the fixed item in the salary structure of every employee. See, whether you get anything else or not, this is for sure shot. Yes, turnover commission I will not say sure shot. Assuming you are in sales profile, then turnover commission also becomes fixed. But then at least these two are fixed. So see, the point was what as an employee you get many items. But in the formula you will take every item or these three items. Why these three items? Because these are the constant item of every employee in India. See, government is making rule for Malad, Kandivali, Mumbai, Delhi or India. So they have to take from India's point of view that in our country, whoever works anywhere, these are the fixed items they get. And government is making a formula, and formula will depend upon something which is fixed. What is the nature of a formula? It is something which is fixed. And something which is fixed should depend upon something which is fixed. And these are the fixed items in the life of an employee. Okay. Although in this chapter you study many things, helper allowance, uniform allowance, but this everyone do not get. Uniform allowance you will get. One who has to wear uniform. Everyone wears uniform. No. But these are the fixed item which every employee gets in every type of profile anywhere in India. That's why government gives this as importance in the formula. Okay. So in short, conclusion is what? In this salary and this salary, will you take his full salary? Whatever he's getting from company? No. He might be getting a monthly check of 1 lakh. But in that 1 lakh check, you have to see what is the basic, what is your DA, and what is your turnover commission. Only these three items you have to add for the purpose of salary. See, it is just for the sake of formula. When you are preparing the main statement, obviously in the main statement you will write everything which you have received from your boss. Did you listen what I said? In the main statement, main means this one. In this statement you will write everything which you are receiving from the boss. But in the formula you will write everything, only three things. Only three things. Basic, DNS allowance, turnover commission. Okay.
So in turnover commission, percentage of commission will be fixed.
Yes, the percentage is fixed only. It never fluctuates. Okay.
So but according to sales, अगर sales ज़्यादा हुआ तो percentage भी ज़्यादा मिलेगा. अगर 10 का 50 हो सकता है.
Yes, but percentage is fixed, huh? See, if your sales is more, you will get more commission, but it is based on a percentage. Whether it is 5%, 10%, but your amount will be increasing depending upon the sales you achieve for the company. Okay. So tell me finally, how will you deal with HRA? Let us put full stop on HRA. HRA full form is what? House rent allowance. Okay, first what you will do? First you will write it in the inner column. Say like that. First you will write it in the inner column. Then what you will write? Less exempt under section 1013A. And then you will use a formula. And see, formula if you want, you can use here only in the main statement, or you can prepare a working note. If you feel it is becoming very congested here, you can prepare a working note. But with that working note, you have to find out how much you will minus. And tell me what is the formula? 50% of salary, which means basic salary, dearness allowance and turnover commission. Okay. Then actual amount received. Then rent paid minus 10% of salary. And your salary again means basic salary, dearness allowance, turnover commission. This way you will calculate three amounts, and out of the three you have to take whichever is less. Whichever is lower will be deducted. Okay. आएगा. Yes, that will come. That everything is there in the package. Okay. See, those who already studied little bit of tax, they might miss some things. But see, when it is taught for the first time to a student, everything has to be taught at a proper time. It will come. See, for your inquisitiveness, I will clear. This will come later here. See, it is wait later. It is. See here. It will come. Okay. But right now, see, you have to go systematically in a particular pattern, because see, income tax is such a subject that if I teach wrong thing at wrong time, if the timing is spoiled, the subject will be literally screwed up. Okay. So teaching, what is the most important point, firstly a teacher has to assume you don't know anything. These are some important points for a teacher. Okay. Don't assume your student will know, because once I start assuming this much you might be knowing, this much you might be knowing, I will cut short on my explanation. Okay. So a teacher will never assume you know anything. Okay. And then teaching in a particular sequence. First what to teach, then what, that sequence will make the teacher super hit. Okay. So in case if you want to become a teacher, you have to select a proper sequence in which to go. If I break the sequence, if I start teaching something which is to be taught after 10 days, if I teach now, the whole subject will be spoiled. Okay. That will come. It 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 will come. Everything is strategically planned. Okay.
Basic salary part.
Okay. So this is, you are seeing for the first time. I am doing this since more than 25 years. Now 25 what? Now it will go beyond that. 97, 2024. Yes, so it is 25. I am used to saying 25. Now it is increasing. Okay. Number of years. So don't worry, everything will come. Everything is planned. That's what I was saying. The difference between a bad teacher and good teacher is this only. A bad teacher will teach. Every teacher has knowledge. A chartered accountant has knowledge. But if I try to show off my knowledge, this, that and that, without bothering that they are understanding or not, it will spoil the subject, okay? So everything will come at a, that's why I'm repeatedly saying, because I know student will see sometimes study material, student will compare this and that, some students will relate with the past knowledge of, in case you studied tax already in colleges, okay? So you will keep relating. That's why I'm repeatedly saying in all lecture, everything will come but at a right time. Doing the right thing at right time is called tact, okay? So this is clear. Now look, wait. This 50% is fixed, right?
Yes.
But this 50% is only if you are paying rent in metro cities. Mumbai, Delhi, Kolkata, Chennai. Then only it is 50%. But in case you are paying rent in a non-metro city, then it is 40%. Instead of 50, it will be 40%. So you have to check in the question whether he is paying rent in Mumbai, Delhi, Kolkata, Chennai or some other city. If it is some other city, then 40%, otherwise 50%. And they will tell you in the question that rent is paid in which city. And one more important point, only if he pays rent, exemption will be allowed. But nowadays there are many employees who doesn't have to pay rent. They have their own house, but still company is giving HRA. And don't find it is weird. See what company says, it is our duty to pay salary to the employee. So let us give in the name of HRA. Now whether he stays in a rented house or he has his own house, we have to pay him salary. So sometimes they give the salary in the name of HRA. But you don't need HRA because you are having your own house. But then if you are not paying rent, still company is giving you HRA, then it is fully taxable. And it happens with many of my friends, they are getting HRA from their company, but they are having their own house. But you know what cheating they do? What cheating they do? They show as if they are also paying rent. They show that I am staying in my mother's house, my mother is charging rent. They show rent paid to mother. One of my friends is doing like that only. Actually, he is staying in own house, but actually the house is in the name of mother. In his name there is no house. So he's actually doesn't. Why mother will charge rent? Mother son staying together, but he is trying to say, no, my mother is so rude that she charges rent, so I have to pay rent, and he has to make a check in the name of mother and deposit in mother's account, so that he can say that I am also paying rent. My mother is charging. And you know why he is trying to show he is paying rent? Because if he shows he has paid rent, then only this formula is applicable. Otherwise, if he says honestly, no, I am not paying rent, oh, you don't have to pay rent, then you got a zero burden. Then HRA fully taxable. See, exemption is for whom? People who have got excessive burden, not even 10% of salary, more than that. See, even if you pay a rent of 10% salary, then also exemption is not given. That's what I was explaining right now. Because up to 10% of salary if you have to pay, it is not a big deal. But if a person is not paying rent only, then he is not having any burden. So it will be fully taxable. So you have to check in the question that if he is not paying rent, then HRA is fully taxable. And fully taxable means what you will do? Directly write this in the outer column. Fully taxable. Then no need to use this formula. This formula will be used only if he is actually paying the rent. And depending upon where he pays the rent, you have to select 50% or 40%. If he is paying rent in metro city, 50, otherwise 40%. Okay. So this was the formula for HRA. Then look here, look. What do you mean by remaining allowances? If any allowance you see in the question which is not in TC hut, not in TC udhar, then you should not wonder this allowance sir has not taught. This allowance sir has not taught. There can be thousands of allowance in the question. I am teaching only those which are exempt, and those which are not exempt and not taught to you means they are understood to be taxable. So all the remaining allowances will be fully taxable. Sometimes in the question you will find overtime allowance, taxable. Don't start thinking this sir is not taught. Picnic allowance, this sir is not taught. Let it be. If you have not heard any allowance in TC hut, TC udhar, then they are all fully taxable. And fully taxable means what? Directly write the full amount in the outer column. Okay? Come on, stay strong, come on. Then last thing, entertainment allowance. Entertainment allowance special treatment is there. Firstly, what is entertainment allowance? If you are thinking it is for my entertainment, no. It is not for the personal entertainment of employee. It is for entertaining clients and customers of the business. Means imagine you are working in a big company and as an employee you are given a work that whenever a customer comes from foreign country or say from outside other city, you have to welcome him. You have to make arrangement of his stay, food, etc. See, entertainment means to welcome. Welcome whom? Not your uncle aunties. Clients and customers of the business. I mean, this is typically an allowance for office purpose. Because you have to entertain not your brothers and sisters and uncles and auntie. You have to entertain clients and customer of the business. And they are customers of your boss. And you know why boss wants you to entertain the customer? Because for a business, customer is a king. So sometimes a customer is coming from outstation, some other city, maybe coming from a foreign country. So you are given a work, make his arrangement properly, a hotel, a proper car, accommodation, food, etc. Make proper arrangement because if our customer is happy, we'll get business. So that job many time employee has to do. But tell me, wait, if employee has to entertain office customers, he will have to incur some expenditure. For small amount, he will not go to boss. Sir, our customer has come, give me some 1,000 rupees right now, I will need. Because see, when a customer comes, every expenditure employee will have to do it from his pocket. But don't worry, for that company will give you allowance. And that is called entertainment allowance. Now see, here special treatment means what, you know? The rule is literally weird. When you listen to the treatment of entertainment allowance, you will literally feel like what funny law it is. But can't help, we cannot change the law. The treatment is little weird. See how it is, look. Imagine entertainment allowance given in the question is 2,000 per month. See, this will be given in the question. Question. So assume it is given 2,000 per month. So multiply by 12. How much?
24,000.
So first you put directly in the outer column as if it's fully taxable. Okay. And then write all other items in the statement. Total of the statement. And you know what is the total of the statement called? Gross salary. You want to see the format which I had shown last lecture? Look. The total of the statement, look, is called gross salary. And after gross salary, can you see there is something called deduction under section 16? There something called entertainment allowance is there. So see, precisely you know what to do. Look here, look. First you will write entertainment allowance at the top, and then after completing the whole statement, after totaling up, you will write deduction under section 16, and there you will repeat entertainment allowance effect. But here you will show as minus. Reason I will tell you, but see, you have to show something like minus means you deduct. And you know, to minus, there is again a formula. See, the formula is like this. 1/5 into basic salary. Actual amount received and 5,000 whichever is lower. Fixed formula. Okay. I will comment on this after some time. First respect the formula because this will give you marks. 1/5 into basic salary. Okay. So let's assume employee's basic salary is 1 lakh. See, every question you will be given a basic salary. So whatever is the basic salary, take 1/5 of that. So that comes to how much? 20,000 in my example. It will not be always 20. Depending upon basic salary in the question, you have to take 1/5. Then amount actually received. See, actual means actual amount received for entertainment. So what is the actual amount received? 24,000. And third amount is fixed 5,000. Fixed. And then 1, 2, 3, whichever is less. So tell me, out of the three amounts, which one is lower? 5,000. So this 5,000 will come here. Can you see 5,000? The one which is lower. And you know what is the net effect of this? You received 24,000. But from that, 5,000 is kind of exempt. Kind of exempt. So what is the remaining amount? 19,000 will become taxable. Okay. Then one more funny thing. This is a funny thing, huh? I'll tell you why I'm calling this as funny and criticizing this. One more funny thing. This deduction you have to take only if he is a government employee. Look what I have written here. Only if he is a government employee, then only you have to deduct. That means if the employee is working in a private sector, he is not doing a government job, then here it will be 0. 0. No formula. 0. Full amount will be taxable. I will talk on this. Let me first finish the rule first. So tell me first, listen to this mechanically. What to do with entertainment allowance? First you write in the top of the statement, in the outer column. Then after writing that, forget it. Write other items from the question, blah, 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 blah. Then total up. After you total up, then you have to check, is he government employee? Yes. Then use the formula. Minus it. And then if you see, no, he is not a government employee, no formula, 0. But in any case, at the top you have to write. Okay. You know, this treatment is so funny. Logically, you know, here the rule should have been like TC Udhar. Here the rule should have been like TC Udhar. Because in TC Udhar, what did I say? All are allowances for office purpose. So the rule was logical that whatever you have to spend for office, whether you spend full or little bit, the amount spent for office purpose will be exempt. Because the amount which you spend for office, you are not enjoying. You are given traveling allowance 2 lakhs also. But if you spend for office travel, so you are not enjoying the money. So to the extent you spend for office, you should be exempted. Same thing government should have done here also. Because even entertainment allowance is for office purpose. The meaning of entertainment allowance is what? It is an allowance given to entertain clients and customers of the office. And since it is an allowance for office purpose, the rule should have been the same as it was in TC Udhar. But it is not like this. So it is not just me. Everyone who knows more about income tax, etc., they criticize how funny the rule is. Firstly, you know, it should have been done here only. Look, this 24,000 I should have written in the inner column here and spent the amount you minus and just finish it like TC Udhar. But here it is so funny. First you write outer column, then you forget it. Forget it means you write all other items, okay? And then you suddenly remind yourself at the end. And there also it is so funny. Government employee, then there is a formula, and formula has got no sense. At least in HRA formula, there was some sense. Rent paid minus 10%. So we were measuring what is the burden on him. Here 1/5, actual 5,000. Completely nonsense. Even if it would have been sensible, why only for government employee? Why not for private sector? Here it looks clear partiality. Because the rules are made by government, they are favoring their government employees. And all private sector, taxable. So it is all funny. But let's not go into much depth right now. We cannot change the law. We have to accept the law. Okay. Sometimes the law is not logical, but then we can't help. And you know, you might wonder, sir, it is so funny. Why government is not changing this? See, government, if they want to make change, they have to do it in budget. In budget, they have got so many important things in the list. This becomes the last priority. They are least bothered. It is not affecting anyone. So imagine I am finance minister of the country, Nirmala Sitharaman. So to manage the whole country's economy in budget, I have to think about so many big important issues. Out of so many issues, income tax is one issue. And in income tax, this is nothing. So they are least bothered. And every year finance minister, when they do planning in budget, they don't care about all this thing. That's why the rule is like this only since years and years. Okay. Anyways, can't help. You have to just accept the rule as it is. So tell me finally, what will you do in exam? See, best to remember like this. If government employee, it will come up also, down also, up also, down also, up also, down also. Okay. Remember my scene. Okay. If he is a non-government employee, only up. Nothing will come down. Down means here. Okay. So remember like a scene. Government employee, up also, down also, up also, down also. Up you will write the actual amount. Down you will write the formula. But up also, down also, up also, down also. But if he is a non-government employee, only write it up in the statement outer column, and at the bottom of the statement nothing will come. Only thak. But government employee thak and thak. Okay. So this was little funny treatment, but I cannot say funny treatment here. In my notes I written special treatment. Special treatment. But our heart only knows it is a funny treatment. Okay. So see, this is done. This is done. Then what? This you don't have to study. All the remaining allowances are fully taxable. Okay. Now see, this chapter's theory is so lengthy. Did you notice after basic salary we have just finished allowances only? In D.W. Ramu Fakirji, one point I kept finishing D, W, R, A. We finished everything in one lecture only. But here every item has got a detailed discussion. Allowance, first understand allowance. Then there is a big list of allowance which are exempt. So this way each item has got a detailed explanation. That's why this is a lengthy chapter. And lengthy doesn't mean tough. It is lengthy. It takes time. But what is tough in this? Eventually you have to remember, okay, this is exempt, this is taxable. Yes, in exempt there is a headache. Sometimes tribal area allowance, then it is 200 per month. Underground allowance, 800 per month. You don't remember all this, na? TC udhar, thank God, no such amount to remember. Amount exempt will be amount spent. Okay. In short, see, every discussion will have some detailed discussion like this. So you know what is my plan? If I plan to do like this, let's finish the full theory first. And then we will do the sum. You will go mad. Because allowance took this much time. Same amount of time will be taken by provident fund, gratuity, pension, and perquisites at the end. It will take lot of time. And imagine if I try to finish the whole theory, then if I start the sum, by the time we start the sum, you will forget it. That's why, I have structured my question in such a manner, as soon as one big theory is over, we will be able to solve the sum. That's why in the book which I have given to you, all these sums I have customized in such a manner so that we can smoothly proceed in the chapter. See, if you see a study material question, even in the first question, suddenly look, you will find anything from this. But tell me, is it a right way to teach a student? Teach everything. Now you will forget everything then. That's why in our book, I have customized the question in such a way that one concept, question. New concept, new question. Concept wise questions are arranged. Okay. Okay, but see, wait. Yes, basic salary, one point I have to yet explain. But I have customized the question accordingly. See, these questions, these questions will go according to what I am explaining. Up till now, what I have explained, based on that a question you will find. And as my explanation will move further, you will find accordingly a new customized question. Okay. But wait, one thing we will have to do, without which it is not possible to start sum. Wait. Although see, without the knowledge of, without the knowledge of all these things, we can start solving the sum, because in my question, You will not find these things which are not taught only. Okay. But every question, this will always come. Because see, in this statement, this part is constant. Any sum you solve of salary, the portion which is written in the end, it will be constant. So without teaching deduction under section 16, it is impossible to start the sum. Yes, I can start the sum without the knowledge of this pension, gratuity. I will not take such items in the question only. But this is mandatory to explain. Okay. So give me some time. I will just explain what is this deduction under section 16. It will hardly take some time and then we will start one question. Okay. Now see, as I told you, deductions is what? It is for the expenses. If you remember in income from other sources, wait, what is written here? Okay, yeah. This I didn't show only. Okay. Just see once. Traveling, conveyance, uniform, okay. Amount, exam, amount spent. Okay. Anyway, this is taught. Okay, now see. See, in income from others, so there are deduction under section 57. And what did I explain that time? That to earn any income, you have to incur expense. And government cannot simply focus on my income. They have to respect my expense also. Because I incur the expense, I could generate the income. So that's why government said, don't worry, whatever income you generated, your corresponding expense you can deduct and you pay the tax on the net amount. That concept will come in all chapter. So even for a salaried person, he gets lot of salary. But to generate salary income, he has to incur expense. What expense? Every day he has to go to office. That will involve some expense. And if the employee is a teacher in a college, he has to purchase books. Means depending upon the type of job you do in a company, you have some expense. See, a salaried employee will not have much expense, but they also have some expense. You know who has got more expense? A businessman. I am a businessman. I am running a business. So for me, expenses are unending. So many expenses, light bill, electricity, rent, etc., telephone, mobile bills, etc., etc. Expenses are unending. But for a salaried person, he doesn't have much expense. But I will not say they don't have any expense. They also have to incur some expense. Every day they go to job, so they have to travel. So traveling expenses there, and depending upon the type of the job, if your type of the job is teaching in a college, as an employee, you have to purchase books. It is an expenditure, because if you purchase books, if you read books, then only you can teach students. In short, this way employees have their own expense. So see here, employees' expenses can be divided into two parts. One major expense which every employee has to incur is profession tax. And there are some other expense also. Okay, other expense, like I gave you example, every day going to office will involve some expense. And if you are a teacher in a college, you have to purchase books, etc. This other expenses I told you. But profession tax is on fixed expense of every employee. You know what is profession tax? It is a tax on employment. Once you are employed, you have to pay profession tax. And it is not income tax. See, income tax is linked with the income. Higher the income, higher the tax, lower the income, lower the tax. Income tax is as a percentage of your income. And that is charged by central government. Profession tax is charged by state government. But one common thing is what you know, as soon as you start generating income, central government will say pay income tax. And state government will say, oh, you started earning income, now we are not unemployed. You are employed. Pay employment tax. And employment tax is called profession tax. See, you might feel this is double tax. Once I start doing the job, I am getting income. So central government is saying income tax. And once I start doing the job, I become employed. Basically, this is a tax on employment. Once you become employed from unemployed, right now you are what? You are unemployed. Because you are a student, you are studying. But once you get into some business or job, see, employed means what you know, you can be self-employed also. So whether you self-employed yourself or do a job, once you become employed from unemployed, you will have to pay profession tax. But then what doubt the student gets, oh, profession tax we have to pay, and once we start any employment, we have to pay income tax also. It is a double tax. I understand it's a double tax, but there is a difference. Income tax who charges? Central government. And profession tax who is charging? State government. It cannot be said double tax. Yes, the person paying is common, we understand. But just as we have our duty to the country, we also have our duty to the state. See, our state is closer to us, then counts our country. See, we stay in which state? Maharashtra state. So Maharashtra government has got its own responsibilities. They have got their own duties. So how will they remove the money? They also need money to discharge their duties. So they want tax. Similarly, central government has to run the whole country. So they also want money. And when state government also wants money, central government also wants money, who will give money? We have to give. So although we feel bad, but then we have got our duty to the state also and to our country also. And for country we give income tax, and for our state, profession. But don't worry, profession tax is not a big amount. Higher side it is 2,400 something. For the whole year. It is not a danger thing. It is not a big expenditure. For a year, if you have to pay 2,400, what? See, you don't have to remember the amount. Huh? Some people have to pay 2,500, some 1,200 rupees. There are different amounts. But how much profession tax a person has to pay, you don't have to remember. I am just giving you a feel. Say round about 2,000 also if you have to pay in the whole year. Not a big deal. This much you can contribute to state government, and this you can show it as a deduction in income tax. Means when you are doing reporting to central government income tax, you can say central government, Modi government, our state has charged profession tax, let us cut it. So see, you are allowed to cut here. See, where? In the statement you are allowed to deduct. Means when you are making income tax calculation, income tax belongs to central government. Huh? So central government says, don't worry, whatever you have paid to the state government as a profession tax, you deduct it. And then you pay the tax on the net amount. Okay. So in short, profession tax everyone has to pay. But our law related to profession tax is very lenient. Many people don't pay profession tax only. Actually, even I am liable to pay profession tax. Because am I unemployed? I am employed. So I should also pay. But I don't pay. Suddenly after 2, 3, 4 years some notice comes, I pay together in lump sum with interest. And if they don't follow up, I don't pay. See, salaried people have to compulsorily pay. Okay. Because company insists them to pay. But businessmen, they are careless, they don't pay. In short, what I am trying to say, just for knowledge, the law of profession tax is very lenient. In income tax, you cannot do manipulation. 2, 3 years you don't pay income tax, you are gone. But profession tax law is so lenient, many people do not pay, and the amount is also not big. It is just a nominal amount, say around 2,000 something. For the whole year, it's nothing. Okay. But whatever the main point is, it is an expenditure of the employee. So see, we were talking about what? A salaried person has got his expenses. And amongst his expenses, one expense is profession tax, which he can never avoid. But other expense depends upon the type of the job. So depending upon type, I gave you the example, your type of the job is teaching. Then you may have to purchase books. Or if your type of the job is something else, you might have to purchase newspapers to be updated, etc. Not so big expense, but there are expenses. So for that what government says, okay, this expense you minus. But for other expense, we will give you a straight 50,000 deduction. We will not see how much you are actually spending. A fixed 50,000 deduction, respecting that you also have some expenses. But Government, if they try to find out what is your actual expense, people will start cheating. People will say my salary is 5 lakhs, but my expenses are 4 lakhs. Feel what I said? My salary is 5 lakhs and my expenses are 4 lakhs. He's bluffing. And see, government says we are not a fool. But then government doesn't have time to argue with each and everyone. That's why what government says, your expense, you keep it with you only. We respect that you also have expense. Although you are a salaried person, you hardly have some expense, but you have expense. But we will not see your actual expense. We will give you a straight 50,000 deduction. And automatically it becomes a deduction for your expenses. Yes, profession tax, you will get a separate deduction. See this. This you deduct it separately. But for this, you will get a standard deduction of 50,000. Conclusion is what you know. Whenever you are solving the question, if you find profession tax, minus it. Where? End of the statement. But if you find other expense, ignore it. Instead of that, standard deduction. See, they will deliberately give you some expenses. That this employee had to spend this, that, blah, blah, blah. But you will ignore it. Because in place of other expenses, you are given a standard deduction. See, for expense, you want deduction only. So, government is giving you, but not what you say. Because if government will ask you, you will try to say more and more expense so that you get more and more deduction, your income reduces. So, not your actual amount, you will get a standard 50,000. Okay. But that's it. See, when you study the chapter income from business, then you will study a lot about expenditure. Because a businessman has got so many expense. Take my example. For me, what is the variety of income? No variety. Fees from student is the only income. Fees from students. But expenditure, you will find a big list. So when you study business income, there you will study for expenses in depth. But in the chapter of salary, expenditure theory is done. That's it, done. Only one expense you have to respect, profession tax, which is every employee has to pay minus other expense ignore instead of that standard deduction. So see, check this. This we have already done now. This part. After you total up the statement, what is seen?
Gross salary.
Deduction under section 16. First you minus standard deduction. Amount is fixed 50,000. Have you by hearted 50,000 or not? By hearted 50,000. Then entitlement allowance, that will come only if he is a government employee. And profession tax will come as it is. Okay. Yes. See, profession tax is there in almost all states. But after all, it's a state law. If a particular state wants that we don't want to levy profession tax, they won't levy. But practically in India, almost every state, profession tax is there. But it depends upon state to state and it depends upon the state where you are working. For example, I am working in Maharashtra state. So I am governed by Maharashtra government's law. Whatever Maharashtra government makes the rule, accordingly I have to pay tax. But this is, see, actually many students have asked me the doubt, sir, why it is called profession? See, don't take the word profession literally. Literally, if you feel the word profession, you know what you feel? Doctors, chartered accountants, engineers, professionals. Here, literally, profession doesn't mean. Actually, the proper name of this tax is what is employment tax. If you are unemployed, you don't have to pay. But once you are employed, it becomes your duty to pay something to state government. So the proper name of this is employment tax. Because this tax starts only when you get employed. Or employed means not necessarily job. It can be job or business. Business means self-employed. But once you are employed, you have to pay this. Anyways, not to discuss much, this will be given as a question, you have to simply minus it, okay? Now start with one question. See, question number. First question of income from salaries. See, basic salary, one point is remaining, but without that point also we will be able to successfully solve. See, my target is what you know, as early as possible a question should be solved so that you get confidence. Otherwise, you will keep waiting when sums will come, and by the time we do the sums at the end, you forget all the theory, no point. Because in income tax, theory is big, sum is nothing. And especially salary theory is so big that it is not possible to complete full theory and then sum. So I am going step by step. Okay, see what is our strategy? We will keep the statement ready. Statement of income from salary. And then one by one we will give the effect of all items. Reading the whole sum will waste the time. My statement is ready. Statement of income from salaries. See, I have written a short form here IFS, but you can write a full form. It's better you write full form. Income from salaries. Income from salaries. Ready? See what is given. From the following details, calculate taxable income from salaries. For the PY means what? Previous year. And why do they say previous year? Because income is always calculated for the previous year. And what is our previous year? 23-24. This is fixed in the question, you will find 23-24. Huh? Tell me, what if they want to write assessment year? Then they will write 24-25. But if they want to write the word previous year, they will write 23-24. Anyway, nothing to do with that. It is just an observation. Okay, now for each point, what we will decide? Taxable or exempt. Taxable or exempt. So start one by one. Basic salary, taxable or exempt? Taxable. So in the outer column, dash or amount? Amount. But 18,000 is per month. So multiply by 12. So basic salary 2,16,000. Okay. Then, okay, now wait, do one thing, look here. Do what I am doing, see here. Just underline allowance in all points. Do this underlining. The whole question is full of allowance. Because other than allowance, I have not taught you anything. See, these are the customized question. But in actual exam, the question which you get, you will find anything in the question. In fact, in income from salary, you will find income from other source also. Capital gains also, mixed. But I cannot take the student directly to that level. So my idea is step by step we have to move on, okay? And one day you will be so strong, any summit comes, you will be able to manage. Now tell me, for each allowance, what should be your line of thinking? Line of, how will you think means, how will you think? If it is in TC, hut TC, udhar then exam. otherwise taxable. Okay, so you have to repeatedly use this chart. TC here, TC udhar, exempt, otherwise taxable. So tell me first point, dearness allowance. Does it come in TC here to TC udhar? No, it is not there in the keyword. Look here. So this is my remaining allowance, fully taxable. Okay. Fully taxable means full amount. Outer column you will write full amount. How much? 5,000 into 12, 60,000. And see, even if you write DA, it's okay. DA is such a popular short form. See, in day-to-day life, if you say anyone, I am getting so much of DA, it is understood. It is a very famous short form. See, otherwise we are scared to use short form in exam, right? But for DA, you don't worry. It is very famous. DA, dearness allowance. Say DA, DA, DA. Okay, DA. Then,
medical allowance.
okay, medical allowance. Tell me, does it fall in TC hut TC udhar? No. So it is fully taxable. Directly outer column. See, let them give anything. We have to search everything in TC hut TC udhar. $600 into 12. So that comes to how much? 7,200. Okay. Okay, then next is
Commutation allowance.
commutation allowance. Yes, this was there in TC or TC udhar.
Taxable, that is for physical.
But that is only for physically handicapped employee. Check our employee have the written he is physically handicapped. Nothing is given means he is not handicapped. And not handicapped then taxable. Fully taxable. See, if the employee would have been handicapped, then tell me then what you would have done. Tell me fast. Less exam under section 1014. 1014. 3,200 per month into 12. But if they write he is physically handicapped, nothing is given, so it is fully taxable. Directly outer column. See, I am not showing the working in detail, but you show in bracket. In the sense, it is 1200 per month, multiply by 12, write properly. I have written in short because I have got less space in my iPad, so accordingly, I have written something in short. But you write properly, commutation allowance, 1200 into 12, 14,400. Okay? No. See, if you ignore something, you write a note. For this, there is no need to write a note. Okay? Means he is asking that should we write a note that he is not handicapped, that's why we have taken taxable. See, if you this way you will feel like writing note everywhere. But you have to balance the time available in the exam. Okay? The rule itself is that it is taxable and exam only for physical handicap. You don't have to mention that in detail. Then,
Telephone allowance.
okay, telephone allowance, does it come in TC hut TC udhar? No, it is not there in our keyword, so fully taxable. Directly outer column. 600 into 12. 7,200, correct? Then
Lunch allowance.
lunch allowance, does it come in TC hut TC udhar?
No.
So it is fully taxable. But wait.
Spent.
Amount spent is given. This is given for confusion. Amount spent is useful where? In TC udhar and not idhar. Idhar means here. Okay. Amount spent we need when it is TC udhar. See, a paper setter will try to confuse you. Everywhere he will give amount spent. But we should be firm. Amount spent we need when? Only in TC udhar. But is this allowance from TC udhar? This is lunch allowance. And lunch allowance doesn't fall in our code word of TC or TC udhar. It is fully taxable. So take full 1,000 per month in the outer column into 12 means, so see, you can write here, this you have to ignore. You can write a note for this amount spent, not so necessary here, not so necessary. Still, whenever you feel in exam or doubtful situation, you write a note. Writing is better than not writing. So lunch allowance 1000 per month multiply by 12, that comes to 12,000. Correct. Then traveling allowance. Yes, this is from TC Udhar. Now we want amount spent. Now it is not to be ignored. Now we will consider amount spent because it is TC Udhar. So how will you write? First 1200 per month into 12 will come in inner column. Then less exam under section 1014. All allowances are exempt under 1014 except HRA 1013A. It is better if you write this with red pen, less exam. In exam, red pen is not allowed, but just to maintain a proper notes, you can use red pen here. Exam under section 1014, 8000, outer column 6400. Okay. Wait, now don't rush. Next point, everyone will have to wait. Ready? Now see, children education allowance is very important as far as the presentation is concerned. Look here, look. See, in children education allowance, you will have to follow one standard presentation. See, what is the standard presentation? Look here. First, you will write children education allowance. Then you will make a bracket like this: per month, per child, into dash months, into dash children. Okay, and then you will write less exempt under section 1014, and then again you will make a bracket like this: dash per month per child into dash months into dash children. Okay, and then in this dash 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 you have to fill in the blanks. Here you will write as per question, and below you will write as per rule. But you will have to compulsorily present like this only. If you try to act over smart by using some other style, you will make blunders. Soon you will realize what blunder you will do. Okay. So present like this. First write children education allowance. Children education allowance. Then in bracket what you write? Don't fill the amounts right now. Just write dash per month per child into dash months into dash children. No need to put the amount because for amount I want to say something. Then less exam under section 10, 14. There also you will write dash per month per child into dash months into dash children. Okay, now tell me. First we will write as per the question. Then as per the rule. So tell me in the question what is the given amount?
90.
So write here 90 per month per child. Rupees, it's rupees only. Rupees 90 per month per child. Into how many months? 12. Into how many children? 5 children. See, right now don't try to show your knowledge of rules. First you have to write as per the question. In the question he has got 5 children. Write 5 children. See, when we minus the exemption, that time you have to show the knowledge of the rules. So multiply how much you get? 90 into 12 into 5. How much? 5,400. Okay. And then less. Now you have to use the knowledge of the rule. What was the rule for children education allowance? Maximum 100 per month per child. Maximum means not more than that. If it is less, take less only. Here it is 90, take 90 only. If you would not have arranged like this, you would not have realized, you would have blindly taken 100. See, 100 is maximum. What do you mean by maximum? If government says maximum will allow you to exempt 100. But if someone says I got only 90, then exempt full 90. So whenever I say maximum means it cannot be more than that. If it is less, then take less. See, in Hindi I say like this, look here. कम हो तो कम लो, ज्यादा हो तो लिमिट में रहो. ज्यादा हो लिमिट में रहो. Means if it is 110, 120, it is zyada means more than limit. But if it is 90, 30, 45, 50, 60, 70, it is less. So what is the dialogue in Hindi I use? कम हो तो कम ही लो, ज्यादा हो तो लिमिट में रहो. So here it is कम हो, कम means less. So they take less. So see, I am writing below 90 only. See, 90. Okay, but in children if you see, is it less ke more? Too much 5, then stay in limit. If it is more, stay in the limit. If it is less, take less. What if it was only one child in question? Then take one. But here it is 5, it is too much, then limit it. So here I will write 2. So see, finally the presentation will look something like this. Can you see this? Children education allowance inner column 5,400. See, if you don't arrange in this style, which style? Dash per month per child into dash months into dash children, you will make silly mistake. See, if you are smart enough, you know everything properly, then you do in your own style. Law doesn't say you should present this way. This is I am telling my students so that my students should not make silly mistakes. See, even for hostel allowance, your method should be like this. Dash per month per child into dash months into dash children. Then first write as per question and then as per the rule. But in rule that maximum means not more than that. If it is less, take less only. So done 5,400 minus 2160. So outer column comes to 3240. Okay. Then what is next? See, as soon as, look here, as soon as entertainment allowance comes, you should visualize this scene. Like this, government employee, up also, down also, up also, down also, up also, down also, okay? And if he is not government employee, only up. So what is he? Is he government employee? So will you do like this, up also, down also, up also, down also? No, only up. Up means right now we are at up only, top of the statement. Just write in the outer column and at the end no formula. By the way, do you remember the formula? 1/5 of basic salary, actual and 5,000, whichever is less. But in this question we will not use that formula. That is only for government employee. Here entertainment allowance as an item you will write in the outer column and then forget it. Our job is done. Fully taxable. Because he is not a government employee. See, I am using short form, but you write properly. I am sir, I can do anything. Okay, I am sir. You write neatly. Entertainment allowance. Show the multiplication in the bracket. Okay, then
helper allowance,
helper allowance is in TC udhar. And in TC udhar, amount exempt is amount spent. Oh, but amount spent is not given. Amount spent not given, assume fully spent. Because TC udhar allowances are given only when you are going to spend it. No boss will give for free of cost. Only if you have to incur some cost of office expense, then only you are given. But if they have not given the spent amount, we can assume fully spent. So see, first I have written helper allowance in the inner column, 10,800, and then less exam under section 1014, you return full amount. Okay, then next point, HRA. What is HRA? House rent allowance. But see, be careful, HRA will be exempt only if he pays rent. Is he paying rent? Yes, he is paying rent in Mumbai. So metro cities, so 50 or 40, 50%. But see, HRA is a big formula. So if I try to solve here in a limited area, it will become little congested. Wait. It will become congested. So you can do one thing. You can write HRA less exam and then working note. If you want, you can solve here also. But see, I am preparing a working note separately so that you know it should not become congested in a small statement. It will become congested, trust me. So you just write HRA here. And then for exemption, we will prepare a working note formula for that. HRA, wait, what was the amount? 6,000 per month. So multiply by 12. You show the multiplication in the bracket, huh? 6,000 multiplied by 12, that comes to 72,000. And then see what I have written. Less exam under section 10, 13A. Then leave some lines. Say around 6-7 lines you can leave. And come to working note. Leaves around 6-7 lines to finish the remaining part of the question. Then note number 1, exemption for HRA. Start with the formula. First amount is what?
50% of salary.
See how I have written. Look. Tell me why I have written like this. You forgot I told you. Here, see, as an employee, you might be getting many things in salary. But in the formula, you will take many things, only 3 things. Only 3 things. See here, 50% salary is not that which you actually get from your boss on month-to-month basis. You might get many items in the salary structure, but we take only 3 items of the salary structure. Basic salary, dearness allowance and turnover commission. So tell me, what is the basic salary?
2,16,000.
Basic salary is 2,16,000. Okay, dearness allowance 60,000. Turnover commission is not in the question. So nil. Ignore it. So is it like this? Basic salary 2,16,000, dearness around 60,000, turnover commission is not there in the question. 50% because he's paying rent in metro city. So this comes to how much? 1,38,000. See, some student asked me the doubt, sir, we are giving the effect of dearness allowance twice. We are not giving the effect twice. See, main effect of basic salary dearness allowance was in the statement here. Right now it is just we are doing calculation of the formula. In formula we are just trying to find out how much exemption should be given. But that is not the main statement. See, in the main statement basic and DA is written, that is the only one effect we are given. It is just for the purpose of formula we have to use this figure once again. Because the formula is such that it is 50% of salary. So that's why we have to take. In fact, in salary there are many things, but we take only basic, DA and turnover commission. Then what is the second amount? Amount actually received. So HRA, what is the actual amount received by him? He has received 72,000. 6,000 per month. So multiply by 12, 72,000 actual amount received, correct? Then third amount is rent paid minus, see how I have written, see, write like this, rent paid minus 10% of basic salary, dearness allowance, turnover commission. Basic, DA, turnover commission. So basic salary 2,16,000, DNS allowance 60,000, turnover commission nil. So total of that 276, 10% of that 27,600. Correct, this is 27,600. Actually 27,600, that 10% is what you know, this much rent if you have to pay, it is not burden, it is a nominal amount. But he says I am paying 56,000. Then there is a burden on his head. So to the extent he has to face the burden, government is exempting it. And then we have got three amounts at our disposal, 1, 2 and 3. These are the three amounts, right? And you have to select the one which is lower and put that amount in box, the one which is lower, 28,400. This amount you will deduct. See this how I have done. 72,000 is house rent allowance. Less, have you written this exam under section 1013A? All are exam under 1014, but this is 1013A. Yes, here you should also mention note 1. You have to show the connection. That for this I have prepared note 1. You write that here, note 1. Then come to the question. Okay, now see, look at this. See what I am doing. See what I am doing. Tell me, can you tell me why did I draw this line? These were all income items. And these are income items or expenses. Do you agree with this or just saying, just for the sake of saying?
Agree.
See this. Why did I say these are income items? Tell me. Because till here everything was allowance. And allowance is what? An employee receives from his boss. So it is income for him. See, some student told me, sir, you told allowances for expense. See, allowances for some expense, they are dedicated for expense. But as an employee, you receive from boss. Feel you are an employee. Your boss has given the allowance. Yes, it is dedicated for some expense, but that's a different thing. But as an employee, you receive, right? So these are all income items. But below the line, these two are what? Expenses. See, profession taxes expenses understood. And here they have written other expense related to his job. So tell me what is the rule? Profession tax you can minus. But other expense ignore, because instead of that you get a standard 50,000 deduction. And then here you don't have to see whether your actual expense is less or more. Standard means standard. It's flat 50,000. Whether your real actual expense may be less or more. So do one thing, what you can write here? Here you can write deduct. And here you can write ignore. Have you also drawn the line like this? You can do it with pencil if you don't want to spoil the book. Draw this line. Above were all income items. Until you come across income items, you have to simply add in the statement. But as soon as you come across expense, you have to minus it. So, but before deduction, you have to total up. See, all income items are done. And once you are done with all income items, you can total up. Total of the outer column is called gross salary. Your gross salary comes to 3,88,040. Then see here, look at this, These three things you should always write whether there or not there in the question. See, standard deduction you have to always write. See, even if this other expenses were not given, still there is a standard. Standard means what? Standardized, it's fixed. It's a straight 50,000 deduction even if in the question there are zero expenses. Irrespective of whether employee has to incur expense in his job or he doesn't have to incur. Everyone gets a flat. Flat means a straight 50,000 deduction. And these three things you should always write in this same line. First write standard deduction, then write entertainment allowance. Even if not there, you write it just for the sake of writing. Then write profession tax. What I mean to say, this portion is a fixed format. See, in the top of the statement, you have to write what has come in the question. Depending on the question, you list down the items. But the bottom of the statement, this part is fixed. Always the total should be called gross salary. Then always write deduction under section 16 and write fixed three items. In that standard deduction will always come 50,000. And what about entertainment allowance? That will come if he is a government employee. But our question is not a government employee. So entertainment allowance you will put 0 or dash or nil, whatever. And then profession tax also sometimes in the question you won't find, huh? Then don't bother. Don't write anything of your own choice. If it is given, write it. Not given, ignore it. In our question, is it given?
Yes.
It is given. So I will write it 2500. But if not given, just ignore it. Huh? Don't try to show extra knowledge exam that sir has told that people usually pay 2500 something. So let me minus. Don't minus if not given in the question. But standard deduction, you have to always minus. So your taxable income from salary comes to 3,35,540. 3,35,540. Okay. Okay, now see here, look. See, basic salary. One point is remaining about basic salary. See, have you heard in real life, when your boss gives you salary, he deducts certain items from your salary and he gives you a net amount. Means when you joined the job, your boss told you every month your salary will be 20,000. But at the month end, when you get the actual salary check, you are not getting 20. He has deducted certain things and he gives you only 17,000, 16,000. Does this happen or not?
Yes.
Means companies have the policy of deducting certain items from your salary. Do you have any knowledge of what they deduct from salary? Yes, most important item is provident fund. Every company maintains provident fund. And you know in provident fund, what is the logic? That from your monthly salary, if they deduct something and keep it aside, it will be useful to give you only at the time of your retirement. And what boss feels, if I give him the full salary right now, he will use all the money. There will be no saving. No doubt employee knows he should save money. But every employee is not so conscious about saving the money. That's why boss says what? That see your salary might be this much, but I will cut some amount. Don't feel bad. I am cutting some amount for your future only. And don't worry, the amount which I am cutting, for the time being I am keeping with me. But I will give this amount back to you at the time of retirement. And if I give you at that time, that is the time when you need the most. Because in your old age, you will have no income. So this money will help you to survive in your old age. So every company follows the system of provident fund. Okay. Then I am giving you examples of what items they cut from your salary. So one is provident fund. Sometimes they deduct loan installment. Means imagine employee might have taken loan. And boss, you know what boss say, you want loan, I will give you loan. But how will you repay? You don't repay, I will deduct from your salary. So by deducting from your salary, one way employee's loan is being repaid. Say for example, as a boss, I gave you loan of 2 lakhs. And obviously employee will not be able to repay full 2 lakhs together. Okay. But what boss will do, he will say, I'll do one thing. This 2 lakhs loan I will cut from your salary in 10 installments. So let's assume 10 installment, 2 lakhs divided by 10. 2 lakhs divided by 10, 20,000. So every month from your salary I'll deduct 20,000, 20,000, 20,000, 20,000. And once my full loan is recovered, I will stop deducting. In short, sometimes they deduct provident fund, sometimes they deduct loan installment. This way there are so many things they might deduct. It depends upon company to company, job to job. Main point is what? In the statement, you should write the net amount or gross amount. This is the main thing. See, we are not here to study what items they deduct from our salary. See, for that you don't have to study. For that the rule of company, every company has a different rule. We have to study from income tax point of view. Then when we prepare the statement, you should write the net salary after all deduction, or you should write the gross salary? That is the main question here. So what do you feel? See, a student will feel, yes, the company has deducted so many things. I am getting some less amount in my hand. So what I get net, I will write net only. Wrong. You have to write the gross amount in the statement. In this statement, you will record gross amount because your original salary is a gross salary. See, the amount which you are not getting now, you are not getting now. You will get someday. For example, see, with amount it's better to understand. Let's assume your gross salary was 2 lakhs. See, I am trying to convince that why should we take gross figure in the statement and why not net? That is what I want to convince. I don't want to impose, take gross, that's it. But why? Okay. So see, assume your gross salary is 2 lakhs and from 2 lakhs, 10,000 is deducted as, what is the full form? Provident fund contribution. Means this amount they have deducted and they will keep aside in a provident fund and this employee will get at the time of retirement. Okay. And this 20,000, assume it is a loan installment. As I gave example, boss might have given you 2 lakhs loan. But he will recover from you by deducting your salary. Okay. So let's assume he deducts 20,000. Okay. Now, net amount is 1,70,000. Now analyze this 1,07,000 salary. Look, out of 2 lakh salary, which is the gross amount, you received 1,70,000. So 1,70,000 you got in your hand, that will be taxable. This 10,000 you feel I am not getting only, but you will get it. It is your money only. And on your money, if you don't pay tax, who will pay tax? Will boss pay? Boss has cut this amount. Provident fund I am talking about. Provident fund boss is cutting right now. But after all, who will get? You. Yes, I understand you will get at the time of retirement. But government will not wait for the retirement to charge you tax. Government says you wait till your retirement because it is your future planning. We want tax now. Because after all, it is your current salary. Current salary is accrued in the current year, pay the tax in the current year. Now if you say, no, but I am not receiving only, I will receive on retirement. You wait for retirement. Why should we wait? Who is saying this? Government. And it's so, government is right in its mentality. See, government says for your retirement, a future planning is being done so that your old age you can survive. You do your planning. For us, salary is accrued now. And as you know, in accounts also you have studied, we record everything on accrual basis. So this 10,000, this 10,000 you will receive in future, but it is accrued now. Because you have performed the service, you have got right to receive the salary, but it is just outstanding, you can say. But tax is on accrual basis. Now for this 20,000, in short, see, this is taxable, convinced. This should be taxed, convinced. What about 20,000? For this, if you say 20,000 boss has deducted, he didn't give me only. He didn't give you right now, but earlier you had enjoyed the loan. See, you had taken loan, and when you took loan, you didn't pay the tax. Because that time you said it's a liability, no tax on liability. Did you understand what I said?
Yes.
When you took the loan, see, right now boss is cutting your salary to recover. But earlier when he gave the loan, so when you received the loan, did you pay tax that time? No, that time what employee might have said, loan is not an income, it's a liability, and it's right. Loan is income or liability?
Liability.
Is it coming in income statement or balance sheet?
Balance
It's balance sheet item, it's a liability. And because it was a liability, you didn't pay tax. But now at least you pay. Now if you say, no, I am not getting only this 20,000 in my hand, you are not getting, but you are already enjoyed. But you didn't pay tax earlier because it was a liability earlier. Now you pay. In short, see, even this 20,000 should be taxed. That means full 2 lakhs should be taxed on gross basis. See, a student will think what? Out of 2 lakhs, I got 170. Okay, 170 will be taxed. Why not on 10,000? 10,000 you are not getting now, but you will get somewhere in future. But government doesn't want to wait for future. They want to tax it now. Similarly, this 20,000 you already received in advance as a loan. And when you received the loan, you didn't pay tax. So now you pay the tax. Because now it is not a liability, now it is part of your salary. See, loan when you received, it was a liability. But now when it is cut from your salary, it is part of your salary. And if you say, I'm not enjoying only, you enjoyed the loan. Don't say you didn't enjoy this. And if you enjoyed full 2 lakhs, why not to pay tax on full 2 lakhs? See, basically we should be convinced that eventually I am getting benefit of full 2 lakhs. But the difference is past, present, future.
Yes.
What do you mean by this? 170 I am enjoying in present. 10,000 I will enjoy in future. 20,000 I enjoyed in past. But you enjoyed, then pay tax. Okay. In Hindi I say, if there is maza, there will be saza. So if you are getting maza on 2 lakhs, so saza means tax should be on 2 lakhs. Okay. Only difference is 170 is a benefit in present. 10,000 it will be a benefit in future. But government doesn't want to wait for future. And this benefit you already took in past. And you didn't pay tax in past because that time it was a liability. In short, conclusion is what you know. If in the question they give you gross, net, don't mess up. Simply take the gross amount. Okay. And you know what they do? They will not give you the gross amount. They will give you the net amount. And they will say from his salary, these items were deducted. So you will do reverse working. They will give you the net amount. And then they will say, this is the net amount. And from his salary, this were deducted. So add back. Whatever was deducted, add back. And you will arrive the gross amount. In short, you have to write the gross amount in the statement. Okay. Tell me, in our question, what we did? Nothing was given, so it was gross. Nothing was given, so that means it was already gross. Wait, by the way, one more thing. Even profession tax, they deduct from your salary. Profession tax, today I explained.
Yes.
Even that, you know what company does? They deduct from your salary only. So tell me, if profession tax is deducted, that also you will add back. Because although profession tax, you are not enjoying the benefit, but you are claiming the deduction later on. See, for this provident fund, what did I convince? Provident fund benefit you will get in future. So pay tax. But if profession tax is deducted, you can say profession tax benefit I am not getting. But you are allowed to deduct at the end. So first you have to gross it up. But if you take the net amount only from the beginning and then profession tax at the end you deduct once again, it will amount to double deduction. So since profession tax, you deduct it separately. So if boss has cut from your salary, add back and show gross over here. See why I am talking about profession tax? Because it is a standard item. See, any job you do, two things are confirmed, they will deduct from your salary. Provident fund, no. While boss gives you salary on monthly basis, there are two things he will always deduct. I am talking about what boss will deduct. Provident fund and profession tax. These are the fixed two items you can literally buy it. Every company, even if you start doing a job, you don't have to ask the boss. You have to understand that he will cut provident fund and profession, confirm. See, loan installment, that will come only if you have taken loan. It's not confirmed. But two things are confirmed, they will always deduct. What? Provident fund and profession tax. But what you will do in the statement, you will show the net amount of gross. Okay. But profession tax you don't enjoy, it becomes your expenditure. So you can deduct it at the end. Okay. So do one thing, try this one. If you understood this concept, try this one. Try this. We are not solving this sum. This is a sum to be taken at the end. You know, this master problem means what you know. In one question, I put everything. So on exam day, just solve this question, that's it. But right now, we are not solving because it will be too early because we have just started the chapter. But I just want you to try this point. What is written? Basic salary 22,000 per month after deduction. Tell me, what do you mean by after deduction of this? So that means 22,000 is after deduction. So after you deduct, you get the net amount. So see, they have not written net, but you should understand this is the net amount. But then what did I say? If in the question they give you net amount, you will write net or gross? Gross. So here you have to convert the net figure into gross. How to convert net to gross? Whatever they have deducted, add back. So this is the net amount. In this I will add back provident fund contribution of 4,000. Then profession tax of 200 per month. Add and tell me. 20 per month it is how much? 26,200 per month. This is the gross basic salary. What do you call this as gross? Basic salary all about gross figure. Multiply by 12. 3 lakhs 14,400. That is the gross amount. This amount you will write in the statement. Means you will write basic salary. In bracket you will show this working. What working? 22,000 plus 4,000 plus 200 multiply by 12. And in the outer column 3 lakhs 14,400. Okay. So the knowledge which I gave, you have to use it like this. But only if they write it is net. Either they write net or they will write after deduction. Okay. But then see, profession tax you have to deduct at the end also. See, right now you are adding back to make it gross figure. But then profession tax, are you enjoying? No, it goes to government. So you can deduct at the end. Okay. So this was the point of basic salary which was remaining. But in our question, it was just basic salary. Then we should assume it is gross. See, in our question also, profession tax was there. And in reality, they deducted from basic salary only. But did they give this figure is net? No. Then you should not act over smart. Nothing is given, that means the given figure is already gross. Don't do anything. If they write net or if they write after deduction, then you should gross up. Now see, one small thing I will do. See, what is that small thing? Look here. After basic salary and allowances, the next theory comes provident fund. Now see, in provident fund, what is my plan? First, I have to explain the meaning of provident fund, types of provident fund, and then taxable or exempt. Repeat, what did I say? Meaning, types, and then main is taxable exempt. Because while solving the sum, what knowledge you require, whether it is taxable or exempt. But I cannot directly go there. That I will take it in the next lecture. But at least the basic things, what is provident fund, okay, meaning and the types. That much I will be able to do it right now in some time. Okay. Hardly it will take some time. Look here. So what did I say? Meaning, types, and then taxable exempt. Meaning, types, and taxable. Focus that way. Okay. Meaning. Meaning. Where is the meaning? Meaning. Okay, this is the meaning. In this drawing, you will understand what is provident fund and how does it operate. Means the concept of provident fund. So see, right now only I told you that from your basic salary, some amount company will deduct and keep it aside. So see, assume in this example, employee salary is 5 lakhs. Can you see this 5 lakhs?
Yes.
And assume from your salary 60,000 they are cutting and keeping separately in a separate account, which is called provident fund account. Okay. And you know the amount which they cut from your salary is called employees contribution. Because you know there is a custom in real life, to the extent they deduct from your salary, that much amount they also contribute from their pocket. So if your boss says I will deduct 10,000 from your salary, 10,000, he will also contribute an equal amount in your provident fund. See, your salary is deducted, it is for your benefit only. But why boss is contributing? Just to keep you happy. And just to set an example, don't worry, we both will accumulate funds for your old age. Some amount I will deduct from your salary, some I will also put. But we are all doing for your old age. Means this way, you know, boss is trying to take the employee in confidence. Otherwise, you know, many employees take boss negatively. Boss is a corrupt minded person. He is deducting my salary. He will eat away my money. There are employees who might think negatively that why is cutting my salary, he will take away the money, he will run away. So you know, boss mostly what he says, don't worry, if 10,000 I am deducting from your salary, I will also put 10,000 from my pocket, and that 10,000, this 10,000, both we will accumulate together, and it is all we are doing for your old age. So that means here, what employer contributes from your pocket, it is a benefit for you. Means as an employee you should think, wow, such a good boss, he gives me salary plus he is also contributing something from his pocket for my future. Thank you, boss. But this is a custom in all the big companies, because see, companies are very smart. They want to keep the employees happy. If the employees are happy, business will run. See, I am also owner of a business. See, as an owner, I don't get much time to attend my business. I have got other work. So I have to depend upon my staff. And if I keep my staff happy, they will manage my business properly. So every company has a tendency of what, to keep the employees happy. And to keep them happy, they also contribute. And that is called what, employers contribution. See, what is deducted from your salary is employees contribution. And what boss contributes from his pocket, it is employer's contribution. And both the amount go in a same place. And this money is invested somewhere. Because see, this provident fund, employer will not keep it in a piggy bank. That money which is saved, it is invested somewhere. And wherever it is invested, on that you get interest. And every year this interest is credited in your account on yearly basis. This way, in your account, 3 amount comes every year. Which 3 amounts? Some amount is deducted from your salary only, which is called employees contribution. And some amount boss will contribute. And see, it is not necessary boss will contribute same. Sometimes boss will contribute more also. Means if from your salary, if he is deducting 10,000, he might contribute 12,000. Anything is possible. After all, it is the boss who has to spend. So it is his choice. Okay. So I was asking, in your account, every year 3 amounts are deposited. Tell me, what are the 3 amounts? One is employees contribution, other is employers contribution, and interest. And why do you get interest? Because this provident fund is not kept in a piggy bank. It is invested. And wherever it is invested, from that every year you get interest. And that interest is credited to your account on yearly basis. And this way, one fine day in this account, Huge amount will be accumulated. And at the end, the lump sum amount is given to employee. Tell me, what does this arrow mean? This arrow means employee will receive. But when will he receive? What is this? On retirement or death? Means actually he gets on retirement. But if before retirement he dies, then on death it will be given to his family members. But if he doesn't die, then whenever he retires, he will get. So you can say on retirement or death, whichever comes first. Retirement or death, whichever comes first. So if death comes first, he will get it on death. He means his family. If he doesn't die, then on retirement he will get. And why I have written this lump sum amount? Lump sum means you get all amount together in one shot. See, depositing happens in one shot or yearly basis? Yearly basis. But at the end when you get in one shot, a lump sum big amount. Every year there might be say 1 lakh deposit. But at the end you get a big amount, 35 lakhs, 40 lakhs, a huge amount together. That's why I written lump sum amount. Wait, he has a doubt. See, his doubt is what? What if he leaves the company? Retirement is a broad term. Whether you are removed from the company or you leave the job or you have attained the age of retirement, the moment you get disconnected with the company, it's a retirement. Take retirement in the broader sense. Leaving the job is also retirement. See, retirement doesn't mean you should become old, you have reached that age and now you retire. See, that is a traditional thinking. Even if you have worked in a company for 5 years, say 6 years, now you want to leave the job. You want to change the job, you want to leave. But you are leaving, na? So once you leave the job, it's retirement. So retirement is a broad term. The moment you leave the job, whether you leave, sometimes company has removed you. Even that is retirement. Okay. Retirement means termination of your job. Whatever may be the reason. You made a choice, company made a choice, or your age was too much, whatever. So tell me, what are the 4 transactions in Provident Fund? 4 transactions mean transaction 1, 2, 3, 4. See, only if you understand the transaction, you will be able to decide taxable exam. Because see, eventually in question what we have to do, they will give some transactions. And we should know taxable or exempt. So first understand what are the transactions in Provident Fund. See, in allowances, there is one transaction. Boss gives to employee allowance. But in Provident Fund, there are 4 transactions. What 4? Employees contribution, employers contribution, interest, and at the end lump sum amount is given to employee. So first a student should by heart this drawing. Literally fix this image in your mind. This is the way Provident Fund works in every company. Okay. Now one last thing for today. What are the types of Provident Fund? And then I will leave the lecture. Okay. There are 3 types of Provident Fund. Statutory Provident Fund, Recognized Provident Fund, Unrecognized Provident Fund. Repeat. Statutory Provident Fund, Recognized Provident Fund, Unrecognized Provident Fund. Now see, you should know the meaning of all 3 fronts. You know why? Because the taxable exempt rule will differ from type to type. Okay. See, everything I am explaining why, my ultimate object is what? To come to the main point, whether taxable or exempt. But that cannot start directly. First I explained how does the Provident Fund operate, the meaning part. Now types. So what are the 3 types? Statutory, recognized, unrecognized. Now see, look at this drawing. There are broadly 2 types of job. Some people do government service, some people do private job. In government service, Provident Fund is compulsory. Means any department of government you work in income tax department. Income tax department also there are employees. You work in customs department. You work anywhere. In government service, Provident Fund is always there. And if something is compulsory, it is called statutory. Have you heard the word statutory?
Yes.
Actually, statute means law. And when law makes something compulsory, it becomes statutory. The word statute means law only. And there is one law, Provident Fund Act 1925. Actually, there are two acts of Provident Fund. Provident Fund Act 1925, Provident Fund Act 1952. You are finding I am saying same thing. You are not listening there. There are two acts, Provident Fund Act 1925 and other one is Provident Fund Act 1952. So that 1925 Act governs government job. And that act says in every government job Provident Fund should be there. Because people treat government job as a secure job. And in a secure job, if Provident Fund is not there, the health security you provide. So that's why every government service there is a Provident Fund. And since it is compulsory, it becomes statutory. So tell me, people working in government job, they will always have a statutory Provident Fund. Can you see the full short form SPF? Statutory Provident Fund. But in private sector, see what I have written. Provident Fund may be there, may not be there. It is not compulsory because in private sector sometimes the boss is also having a small business. Like me, I am not having a business of crores, multi-crores. I am having a small business. Even I am having employees, but I have not kept Provident Fund for them. And no one will say, why no Provident Fund? In private sector, there is no compulsion. So see, I fall in this category. See, anyone working under me will be a private job, right? And I am not keeping Provident Fund. I don't want to keep. I can hardly manage to give salary to my staff. Provident Fund means I have to do something extra only, which I don't want to do. But imagine if I am a very big company, a coaching class at India level, a broad multinational company, a very big company, then I might be having lakhs of staff. Then I can keep Provident Fund. In short, in private sector, Provident Fund may be there, may not be there. Okay. Now, if it is there, it can be either recognized or unrecognized Provident Fund. Now, what is the difference between the two? Look here. Look. Last thing, pay attention here. As I told you, this Provident Fund money, is it kept in a piggy bank or invested somewhere? Yes. If it is invested as per government's directions, then it becomes a recognized Provident Fund. See, Provident Fund is of private sector. But if the private sector boss, if he is investing the Provident Fund as per the directions of government, then the Provident Fund will be recognized. And you know why government is expecting this private sector people to invest as per government directions so that staff money is safe? Basically, government is worried about what this private sector, these are so selfish people, they might use the Provident Fund, they might invest here and there and literally they will, waste the money. And eventually when employees retirement time comes, boss will say your money is lost, sorry. I had invested Provident Fund in stock market, your money is lost. So there is a risk. See, employee is given the hopes. Don't worry, for your old age, we are accumulating fund, But ultimately, if that fund is misinvested or invested in wrong direction, the money will be lost and employees will be disappointed. That risk law doesn't want to take. That's why what law says. Please, private sector people, if you don't want to keep Provident Fund, don't keep. But if you want to keep, please invest the money as per our directions. And see, we don't want to poke our nose. Basically, we want, if you invest as per our norms and directions, the money of the staff will be safe. And we are simply worried about the staff. But here if boss says, you mind your own business, government. It is my and my staff's matter. It is our Provident Fund. I will invest anywhere I want. It's my choice. Okay, do. Such Provident Fund will be not recognized, unrecognized. Actually, see, In private sector, nothing is compulsory. Firstly, you don't want to keep provident fund, don't keep. You want to keep. Now, if you want to keep the fund money, whether you want to invest as per your own wish or as per government's wish, that is also your choice. But it is advisable for the private sector that they should invest fund money as per government's directions. See why I am talking about investing, because see, this provident fund money employee will be given at the time of retirement. See, after 20-25 years, till that time the money has to be invested. And where you invest, that's very important. Because if it is invested in wrong places like stock exchange, the money will be lost. There is a risk. So basically law wants that money should be invested safely as per government's directions. And if it is as per government directions, then it becomes a recognized provident fund. Means what government will say, this private sector people are good, they are investing the money as per our directions. So we will recognize this provident fund. We approve these funds. And having recognized fund means it is good, it will become exempt. Eventually, who will enjoy? The staff. Because provident fund will ultimately become whose income? Provident fund managed by boss. But it is whose income? Employee. He will eventually enjoy the exemption. But if your boss is nonsense, in the sense, he is investing the fund as per his own wish, he is not following government directions, then the fund will not be recognized. And because of your boss's foolishness, employee will suffer in tax. See, I have not yet told you taxable exempt, but I am giving you the hint. This will become eventually taxable because these are bad boys. Bad boys. Who boys? Private sector boys has become bad boy. Okay. Now tell me, which is the best among the three? If you think from government's point of view. For government, this is the best. Government has got a special corner for this because this is a government job only. So this is the best. And this is second best. Why? Because although they are private sector, but they are investing the provident fund as per government's direction. They are respecting government. Someone respecting government, government likes it. Okay. But this is the worst category. Why? Because firstly they are private sector and they are not even listening to government. They want to invest the fund money as per their own wish. Okay. And that is risky for the staff. So government hates UPF. Government hates UPF. So accordingly taxation treatment will be the same. This will be fully exempt. This will be partly. This will be fully taxed. But in this, the theory doesn't get over. Now, these three things will go in further depth. That I will not touch today. At least you got an idea that what difference it makes whether it is SPF, RPF or UPF. It makes lot of difference. SPF means it is the government's first love. Because anyone working under government will always prefer them. And who makes all income tax rules? Government only. And if someone is working in government, so they will always get a priority. Means for them it will become fully exempt. But these people are also getting priority, although they are private sector people, but they are investing fund money as per government directions. So government is partly happy with them and partly not so happy because after all they are private sector people. Okay. But these people, government hate them because they are firstly private people and they are not even using the fund as per government directions. So they will suffer. In fact, boss will not suffer. See, fund investment is planned by the boss. But ultimately, who will suffer? Employee. Employee will say, what is my fault? Your fault is you started job in this company. You should not have done job in such company. But let me tell you one thing, in most of the companies in real life, this is not there. This is just for the sake of teaching. You make a survey, you go to any company, 99% company, if they have a provident fund, they will always have recognized provident fund, because company also feels they should do something good for the staff. What is the use of such provident fund when ultimately employees are cribbing for that? After all, provident fund is for the employee. So most of the companies have recognized provident fund, but then while studying, we have to study the treatment of all. Although this is rare, but at least you should have the knowledge of the tax treatment of this. Okay, now you know what is to be yet explained. This is simple, fully exam. But here partly exam is how much? How much exam, how much taxable? So there will be some formulas, amounts you have to remember, okay? But that I will not touch now, to be discussed in the next lecture. You had some doubt? Yeah, I thought you asked. So this will be further discussed in detail. So my plan was provident fund, three things I want to explain. Firstly, the meaning and the concept that I explained here. And then types I explained here. Now further discussion is about details of taxable exam to be continued in the next lecture, okay? Means tomorrow. Revise and come, please revise and come. Please come on time, please come.